Holy cow. Neil Rogers is right. The Cubs suck.
When some schlummeal tries to put me down and says he has a larger congregation, I tell him right away, now listen here, to negate you heard of my show. It's number one in the nation. College Bass, Gimbal, College, Rich, so be true to your show. Like you would to your mule. Be true to your show. Be true to your show. I got a new cloth, Yamoki embroidered in gold. It sure is bold. I wear it everywhere when I go round to other AZAs. They don't know what to say. So be true to your show. Variation made. Be true to your show. Support the neighbors. Be true to your show. On Fridays I'll be jacked up on the Sabbath service. I'll be ready to pray. I'll be standing now. My girlfriend's at the altar in the choir now. She'll be singing away. Be true to your show.
True to your
Sing your college sales. Be true to your show. Sing Israel. Be true to your show. Yiskadash, 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 be true to your show.
We're davening over here, baby. We're rocking back and forth with davening. We're like that. But at any rate,
They rock.
what I always tell you, the religious people are the crazy people. Don't ever forget it. Not just any one, but I mean, the more religious, the crazier they are.
Right.
Just a matter
A
of
lot of
degrees. I beg your pardon?
The lot.
The lot. And don't forget about those pillars of salt. Anyway, so they took the poll in the Sun Sentinel, and of course, needless to say, they put it on Friday, knowing that I wouldn't be on the air on Friday.
Right.
And I'm sure you didn't mention it.
Nope.
And they took a poll about how do you rate Jimmy Syphilis and Joe Rose on the Dolphin broadcast. Then, of course, that unctuous broadcast on Saturdays sent their numbers diving down even more. And all of a sudden, it disappeared this morning. It was on there yesterday, and their A's dropped from 18.8 A to about, and then the F up to about over 20% last time I looked at it until it disappeared. The bottom line, adding the C, D, and F, it was like about 60% C, D, or F, and A and B got about 40%. Not really good. The audience is unimpressed, Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy.
You fairy.
But, of course, Jim Sarney has... See, on this show, we take a stupid-ass poll every day to kill some time and give you something to do, you know, some busy work. But at least we have our own opinions. And many a time I'll say, well, here's what the poll says, but the correct answer is, and I'll give you my own idea. But Jim Sarney, that big bufo toad, he hasn't got any opinions of his own, evidently. So it's always, well, let's take a poll, and then if they don't like the way it comes out, it just kind of vanishes, or they don't give you the result, or whatever. Come on, Sarney, butch up, you idiot, you quisling, you fairy. A commercial airliner with at least 158 people aboard crashed in western Venezuela early today after reporting engine trouble. A lot of plane crashes yesterday, you know what? I mean, lately. A top government official said it was unlikely anybody survived. Well, that's what Scott Miles O'Brien said even before the crash. They're all dead. The West Caribbean Airways plane was en route from Panama to the Caribbean island of Martinique. Oh, who'd want to go there? When its pilot reported trouble with both engines to Caracas' air control tower at around 3 o'clock this morning, said Francisco Paz, president of National Aviation. Did I say that right? Francisco Paz? The airport authorities lost radio contact with the plane about 10 minutes later when the plane was in the area of Machiques, 400 miles west of Caracas in the western border state of Zulia, he said. Zulia. Residents in the area said they heard an explosion, Paz said. Interior Minister Jesse Chacon said that based on reports from military aircraft flying over the area, it's unlikely there could be any survivors. So planes just keep falling out of the sky all over the place lately, and they had another helicopter crash somewhere, I don't know, in Afghanistan, right?
Yeah.
All over the place. Look at this. What is the main cause of violence in America? Georgia's poll yesterday. Over 1,000 votes. Nice going, George.
Well, it's that ass picture, you know.
That was last Friday. I'm looking at the statistics on our website. Yeah, it must have been Ass Friday. So smear a little on your head, on your forehead. Little ass.
Already did.
Oh, God. And I looked down there to see what it was that got that tremendous response. And it's a rear ass view of some Syrian woman. Isn't she Syrian?
She's a Syrian. She's
yeah,
very Syrian about it.
Oh, brother. It looks like a guy, to be honest with you. If you look at the hair and look at the ass, he looks like a guy. Hey, just a distant picture of some ass, and she's protesting about bada-beep, bada-boop, bada-bop. And that's it. All of a sudden, oh, gee, it's a naked ass. I was thinking what we ought to do is go back to the beaded curtain and have, like, celebrity ass of the day.
Okay.
We could do that, couldn't we?
Well, you tell me. I don't know where the line is anymore.
No, you could have an ass picture. It's got nothing to do with genitalia. Just and then we could we do a separate poll? Is it physically possible, Josh, that we could do like a poll on the beaded curtain? We could do that, couldn't we?
Absolutely.
I beg your pardon?
Absolutely.
Oh, but yeah, and we could like have people guess whose celebrity ass it was every day. That get a whole bunch of response on there again. And once in a while we could do like a male ass, like we could put Greg Reed's picture on there, just his face, huh?
I don't think that's possible. Only the women.
Seriously, what's not possible?
I was joking.
Male ass.
No, we could do that. Like could be Tommy Cruise's ass. We don't have any male asses.
Oh yeah, we could find
asses.
Yeah,
I mean mostly female, obviously, because except for some of the listeners out there who want to see Tom Cruise's ass. Just take a look at him. Okay, he's all ass. Speaking of all ass, you people at MSNBC. Now I was lucky enough this morning to catch that promo for Rita Cosby. Seriously, this is their big coup, their breathless coup at MSNBC. They got Rita Cosby, who may be one of the ugliest, skankiest-looking bitches I've ever seen, and she has a little bit of a problem for a broadcaster, and that is she can't speak.
You talked about your son. I understand it's hard for you to talk to your son about the details of this case.
She can't speak.
Other than that, I mean, great.
Yeah, she's got a skanky nose, and she's an idiot, a bubblehead, and she can't. And it's not like she's got laryngitis. That's just the way she speaks.
Wow.
So what a coup for MSNBC as those numbers continue zooming down. Okay, 1,005 votes on Georgia's poll yesterday. Let's get back to something really serious here, okay? Okay?
Okay.
What is the main cause of violence in America? Bad parents, 249. Well, how about no parents?
Yeah,
this is the new thing in America, like one-parent families and no-parent families and people just making babies and See, the thing, I'm unimpressed with that because cockroaches can make babies and rabbits can make lots of babies and ants make babies. What's the big deal? What's the big timmus? One thing to make babies, it's another thing to have like a little responsibility. I think instead of like forced sterilization is a great idea. But anybody who's going to like have babies out of wedlock, for example, George? Yeah. Main cause of violence in America, bad parents, 249. That's a cop-out, wouldn't you say?
No, it's accurate.
No, that's the main cause of violence?
Yeah, parents not smacking their kids enough.
Oh, I see. Poverty, 204. Now, that's a cop-out.
Right.
Just because you're poor isn't an excuse to be...
right.
We're not asking about crime like pickpockets or, holding up a 7-Eleven. We're talking about violence
because they're
America.
Frustrated.
Is that what it is?
Poverty, yeah.
Black people, 141, which I see a crossover there for the top two. And, of course, you left out black people with guns, which we seem to be having a real problem here in Toronto lately with black folks with guns. But where are you at?
Right
Isn't
here.
that what they said? Where you at?
Where you at?
Those new commercials?
Yeah. Oh, you've seen that too, huh?
Where you at?
No, seriously. What kind of crap is this? Well, I don't want to find out who it's for because it's probably some sponsor of ours. But what is that? What'd that be?
Targeting your demographic.
Where you at? And I'm sorry, but television promoting in commercials illiteracy, that's not acceptable to me. It's like a death wish for dark folks. Where you at? Oh, I don't want to go into it.
Yeah.
Black people, 141. I don't want to hear. I can't stand it. Guns, 97. The Bible, 79. Now, that should have had a lot more votes for that. And, of course, so should a gun. Because most of the violence we couldn't have. We got, like, knife violence and road rage violence with cars. But most of it is crazy people with guns. Irresponsible people. The Bible 79, which the Bible says, smite all your enemies, especially starting October 1st in Florida. Republican 67, drugs 46, television 31, alcohol had...
About 30, man.
Democrats 20, immigrants 17, video games only 9.
Yeah.
Women 8. Now, what does that mean, women are the main cause of violence?
Oh, the whole thing started with how women will start a fight and expect their man to finish it, or men fighting over women, or something like that. There's 101 ways a woman can create violence.
And movies, 7. That's what we got on there. WQAM, hello.
My penis is gone.
Internet casino buys Jesus image pierogi. Here's the most important story of the day.
I saw that.
Point Place, Ohio. Where'd you see that?
The pierogi on the TV.
Oh. An internet casino known for its collection of oddities has paid $1,775 for a pierogi. Anybody out there who's not Polish, a pierogi is like a thing that looks like an image of Jesus. Oh, I always wanted a pierogi that looked just like Jesus. GoldenPalace.com purchased the item yesterday during an auction offered by eBay. The seller, Donna Lee, said the Jesus face appeared when she was cooking Polish dumplings for Easter dinner. That's what pierogies are. Very good. Kind of like knedlach for all you goyim. Knedlach. Ever have knedels?
Not that I know of.
Like Jewish dumplings. You rock back and forth and you pray for the dumplings to taste really good. Anyway, she was cooking Polish dumplings for Easter dinner at her home in Point Place, a Toledo suburb on Lake Erie. She has kept it in her freezer ever since because there's a Jesus face on her pierogi. I wonder if there's a Mary face on her
rectum.
We seem to have an interest in all of these religious items, said Drew Black, a marketing spokesman for GoldenPalace.com, probably no relation to Jay Black. The casino has a collection of odd items, including a 10-year-old partially eaten cheese sandwich thought to be containing the image of the Virgin Mary, a pretzel shaped like the Virgin Mary holding a baby Jesus, and a pregnancy test that allegedly belonged to Britney Spears. Black said the pierogi will join a traveling museum that the online casino is creating for its collections. Oh, God. I hope I live long enough to see the pierogi with the Jesus face on the pierogi. Yeah, lately with all this, Gaza crap going on, that's all we see now. On the one hand, the crazy Muslims with their flying carpets, and then, of course, the Hasidim over there with the boxes on the heads and the big hats and the beards and the payas, and they're rocking back and forth, and they got, oh, geez.
It's like a contest.
Oh, and they show this like this is the way the world is supposed to be, okay? Like we're not supposed to laugh at this. You know, somebody would say, well, you're making fun of other people's religions, and the answer is
no.
The answer is yes, sorry. Yeah, that's probably one of the best things you can do is make fun of other people's religions. Behind their back, of course. 10:14 at 560 WQAM.
Oh, man, what's up with your Gotham Spoker?
I took a course of Ebonics. They say the future be bright for me. Now I can't get no job, 'cause I don't got no literacy. I was talking like an old Negro. Ebonics taught me how this way. Now I can't do nothing, but my heritage say that's okay. Change my name to Shoot Roll. Drive a deuce and a quarter, ain't a Cadillac. I remember when I was stealing all the white man's cars, hanging outside the Belvedere bar, crying the blues about poverty. White devils got no job for me, and I thought Ebonics would give my life a chance. Now I got to go and sell more crack cocaine, crack cocaine, crack cocaine, crack cocaine, crack cocaine, crack cocaine, crack cocaine. Crack cocaine, crack cocaine. Lordy, what a boring song. Ebonics makes me sound funny. Got nothing to do with literacy. Now I got to make more money. Labor food sounds good to me. I got plenty of nothing. Ebonics ain't getting me anywhere. Maybe I'll mug an old white bitch, steal her purse and full of hair. Then I'm gonna take the money, buy a stereo and a Frigidaire. I remember when I was stealing all the white man's cars, hanging outside the Belvedere bar, crying the blues about poverty. White devils got no job for me, and I thought Ebonics would give my life a change. Now Got to go and sell more crack cocaine. Crack cocaine, 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 crack cocaine.
So let me ask you one thing, okay?
Hey?
Where you at?
Yeah, you.
Who is the, here's our poll today, who's the all-time ugliest male celebrity, movies, radio, TV, etc.? And I have a short list. I'm sure that you can probably add some on. There's so many ugly people in so little time. Marty Feldman, though, seems to be winning hands down your pants. Marty's got 61.
Oh, come on. He was adorable.
Must be those Marty Feldman eyes, you think?
Uh-oh.
Haven't played that in a long time, but it's coming up soon, I bet. Good. 193 votes. Marty Feldman, 61. Hank Goldberg, 35. The Humper. I saw Hank on the Arlington Million telecast on Saturday. Did I mention that?
No, not yet.
Not on the air yet. I did see that. Hank was on there. And I was thinking to myself, boy, ABC sure likes him, and they treat him very well, and ESPN as well, which is owned by ABC. They treat him with respect, as opposed to WQM, which treats him with the greatest disrespect. I just mentioned that in passing, okay? Hank Goldberg, 35. Mo Howard David's got 21. Third place show for Mo so far. Mo will be on it too, by the way. Mad Dog at 4, 6:30. Marlins on deck. Padres at the Marlins 7:05. Eddie K after the baseball game. Sly Stallone's got 16. Carl Malden 12. Neil Rogers 11, right on Carl Malden's ass. But I sure don't have his nose.
No, who does?
Owen Wilson 9. James Woods 9. I sure don't have his zits.
Ooh.
Charles Bronson 8. W.C. Fields 4. Peter Lorre 3. Gene Wilder 2. And Red Skelton had a pair. God bless. See, it's getting to be an age thing. Those of us who remember Red Skelton were a very small minority because all the Red Skelton viewers are dead. Although you remember Red Skelton.
I saw a picture or two.
And, of course, Josh he don't even know who Red Skelton is. He didn't know who Bing Crosby was, so he sure don't know.
I do.
You do what? Know who Red Skelton was?
I do.
Where'd you see that? Like on a comedy channel or on the one of those oldie moldy things?
Some old video, I think.
I see. I'll be honest with you. I think he was highly overrated, Red Skelton. Well, you can't say that. He's dead, and that's sacrilegious. He was beloved.
You just said it.
I don't think he was all that funny. He was no Jackie Gleason, that's for damn sure. He was no. I'll tell you another one who was overrated was Jack Benny.
Yeah.
Well. What was so funny? I mean, I loved his great Reed impersonations, but other than that. So you asked about that woman, and you probably just touched on this yesterday, but this seems to have gotten so many people reading it on our website, other than looking at that Syrian lady's ass.
Yeah, that's some very
seriously,
time.
if you're that desperate, I think it's definitely time. Russian roulette with no empty chambers.
It was a national right.
Forget about Maryland chambers. Just Russian roulette with no empty chambers.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Eric suggested it because we were talking about her in
Well, nice going, Eric. You sure boosted up the numbers there on Friday.
Just to,
I guess Eric knows the desperation level of our audience out there. Oh, I just want to see a little flesh. Anything, please. Oh, pretty please. So what do you think of my idea about the celebrity ass?
Okay.
And we can have not a... Huh?
I don't know if we can do it every day. We don't have that much of a pool.
Or like once a week?
Like for the weekend, we could have the Friday Ass Friday.
Ass Friday is good. That's a great idea.
For the weekend, name that ass.
Right. And, of course, just like the ashes on your forehead, what do you do with an ass on Friday?
Just rub it?
There you go. I think that's the answer. Rick. Hey, there's your buddy Rick Riley, who you hated like poison. Oh, speaking of people who you really don't like a lot, Rimmer called me yesterday.
Yeah? How's he doing?
Which I needed like a Lochenkopf. I said when the phone rang and it was Rimmer, I thought to myself, Dafka Zadia Lochenkopf, like the Chinese say. Oh, God, will you leave me alone already, Rimmer? Oh, you got to go to Vegas. We just came back from Vegas. I said, I'm not going to Vegas. I just came back from Woodbine, and if I want to lose my ass, which I always do, I can go out there. It's a 25-minute cab ride away. I don't need to go to Vegas. Although he did want me to mention that he hates the Panthers like poison and wishes they lose every game, and also hates Denise Potvin and wishes he would get run over by a Mack truck. But other than that, no, he really did say that about, well, he was giving me a song and dance. It's sour grapes is what. I told him that. It sounds like sour grapes to me. You left the organization and they screwed you over, and your buddy Doug McClain took you under his wing in Columbus, and now all of a sudden you're a big Columbus guy and you hate the Panthers. Shame on you, Rimmer. And don't call me anymore. Stop bugging me. You get on my nerves. Sitting there watching the TV, relaxing, minding my own business, and all of a sudden the phone rings. Pop, 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 you know. Yeah. Talking about people with no life. So anyway, the woman died making her first skydive. See, I never understood this. People who want to do really dangerous things like, real dangerous. You know, every time you get in your car in South Florida, that's dangerous. But I'm talking really, really like putting your life on the line. I think what you're really trying to prove is...
I have no life.
Maybe you're suicidal.
I want to do it, but I don't want to die, you see.
Well, she evidently did. The woman died making her first skydive, a tandem jump with her instructor who was seriously injured in the fall. Julia Bond, no relation to Julian Bond, of Evanston, Wyoming. You were asking me if it was in Florida. Now, this dummy was in Evanston, Wyoming. Died in the hospital after the jump Saturday. And John Van Cleve of Roy. I didn't even know that there was such a place as
Roy,
Wyoming. Did you?
No.
Was in stable but serious condition. Some members of Bond's family witnessed the accident, making it especially tragic, said Fire Department Battalion Chief Steve Splinter. Oh, you think he's part of some group, like some
Splinter group? Oh.
There were conflicting accounts from witnesses of what happened. Some said a gust of wind caught the pair as they came down and pushed them into a building at the north end of Ogden Airport, Splinter said. Others said the pair missed the building, but the wind caused the parachute to collapse, and they too dropped about 20 feet. Well, she won't be doing that again, huh? Somebody that you really care about says, I think I'm going to go skydiving. I got to give it a shot. Say no. Of course, a lot of people threaten to do things like that because they want you to beg them, please don't do it, to prove how much you care about them, see. Oh, that's an old scam. WQAM, hello.
Yes, I got an extra for you. Bela Lugosi.
Bela Lugosi was an ugly guy. Well, I guess.
Okay.
That's what the guy says, Bela Lugosi. I never really thought he was ugly. I thought he was strange looking. Different. And with the piercing eyes. But I guess it's those I guess that's what does it.
Bleh.
Yeah. Bela Lugosi, let's get him on there. I'm sure we'll have lots more to add to the list. And aren't you people pleased that we have a poll building thing here today? And it wouldn't surprise me on Thursday if you already know what that poll is going to be. Since we're doing the all-time ugliest male celebrity today, I'll give you 85 guesses.
I got an idea.
When you're shopping for shoes, comfort and fit. See, George interrupted my spot, and that's
Start
not
over.
good. When you're shopping for shoes, comfort and fit is what it's all about. And see, she's got this line in here. I got to cross out. Hey, Berkeley, you're an idiot. Okay, you're an imbecile. You're just a moron. How's that pizza joint coming, Berkeley? You quizzling you
fairy.
I turned the knob on my radio. I heard a crappy song by J-Lo. Must be Paola. Paola. They put it on the air even though it sucks, 'cause Sony paid them $1,000 of Paola. 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 Now every time you hear J-Lo sing, someone's getting lots of free bling bling. And if they make the record #1, they get a laptop and a PlayStation. Well, I'm not the world's most musical guy, but I'm not surprised that those record guys use Paola. Paola. Paola.
I'm dying out of here.
You talked about your son. I understand it's hard for you to talk to your son about the details of this case.
MSNBC's got rid of Cosby. What a coup, man. What a coup. As in cuckoo-ca-choo.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say that.
Oh, my God. Give me a break. She is just nasty in every respect. I bet you she's got stank breath.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I bet you her rectum smells real bad, too. Willem Dafoe, somebody says, spelled very badly, by the way, but nevertheless.
We'll get it.
Willem Dafoe, he's an ugly guy, all right.
And Boca Brian suggested Richard Boone.
Richard Boone was an ugly guy. He not only had a big nose, but he had like James Woods' nose. He had like zits on his nose.
Right.
Which is not a good idea.
And
Richard Boone, but he's got a gun and will travel, and if you call him ugly, he'll shoot your ass, okay? So cut the crap.
And Eric put one on there that you should have.
Who is?
Lyle Lovett.
Oh, that's the winner right there. Thank you, Eric. I should have had that. How did I forget about him? Well, since Julia Roberts dumped his ugly ass. The more I think about that, there's I don't care. There's something there that doesn't meet the eye. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, whether you like Julia Roberts as an actress, as a person, or whatever, but I mean, she's cutesy, she's fine. There's nothing wrong with Julia.
You know those actor types? They're strange.
Yeah, right. Kind of sounds like Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie is what it sounds like to me, or Debbie Rowe, or Tommy Rowe. I think Michael Jackson and Tommy Rowe are gonna hook up. Rowe. I saw a Tab Hunter movie for about 30 seconds the other day. I kept thinking the image of him and Tony Perkins doing it like Doogie style kept coming to mind. I just couldn't get that out of my mind. At any rate, speaking of crazy religious people, seriously, you folks have got to do something about this. You've got to take the religious people and do something with them. Yeah. I mean, how can the world survive? Oh, let's see. Phil Henry. What is this?
The only important part.
George W. Bush's God.com on the Phil Henry blog. Oh, no. And how about Phil Henry for the poll?
Okay.
Huh?
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah. He's a hell of a lot uglier than Mo, I'll tell you that. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
He's one grotesque-looking guy. Take it from me, who already looks bad. Let's see. Loves George W. Bush. Oh, what do we care about him, you know? He's,
Okay.
old news. Let's see. Lone priest defends Manson ahead of Croatia gig. Marilyn Manson, times must be getting really, really tough when you know, it's one thing when you guys start appearing at Fallsview Casino in Niagara Falls like Wayne Newton and Kenny Rogers. I guess those roasters aren't selling too good, you know? Are they still open, Kenny Rogers?
I don't know. Haven't seen one in a long time.
Oh, probably not. I told you I saw him one time at Pompano Park. He sat at that table right across from me and Fat Rich. Kenny Rogers. Also, Jim Leland sat over there one time.
Woo.
And on the other table where the shoe guy, Earl, used to sit, which, by the way, Earl, I can't stand you. What's his name was there? Pete Rose.
How
With
do you
a
like
big
that?
stack of bills and some floozy on his arm. You know, so every time I mention Pete to Hank, it's like, you know. Well, you know, Hank is part of that sports fraternity. You know, all those people kind of like suck around together. WQAM, hello. QAM.
Oh, how about the hedgehog for the poll, man?
The Hedgehog?
Ron Jeremy.
I never heard him called the Hedgehog.
Al Goldstein called him the hedgehog of porn every time he referred to him.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, how does this guy remember that? Maybe this is Al Goldstein, one of Al's boyfriends.
That could be.
That he met at the ring in Amsterdam. Okay, let's get him on there. Ron Jeremy, he's certainly grotesque, and I will never get over the fact that he took great umbrage with the fact that I said that he was fat and hairy and ugly, and he's like, oh, I'm a sex symbol, I'm a stud. Yeah, right.
How dare you?
He's enough to make me lose interest in sex for the rest of my life. He's so grotesque, man. WQAM, hello. Hedgehog Radio, QAM, yes.
Edward James Olmos.
Almost going to win a poll, right? Thank you. Yeah, he's ugly. He's another zithead.
Mm-hmm. Crater face.
Oh, and you know what I got here?
What do you got there?
Speaking of Howard Cosell, he was pretty ugly too, but I'm not suggesting we put him on the poll.
No, he's a
That would make Dave Johnson happy. But... Oh, boy, back in the day when they had the, every station had its own news sounder. That was the ABC news sounder. It was also the intro to Speaking of Sports with Howard Cosell. Let me hear it again. Religious groups in Croatia are up in arms over the, I'm a little off my timing now because with Hank on vacation 2 weeks, we don't have any crossover, which is fine with me. I don't want to cross over with Geldy and Kimba. Nothing against them personal, but what are you going to talk about with them, you know? We could talk to Kimba about that cow out in front of University Dodge. I'm sure you'd like to get the free plug-in.
Sure.
But so as a result, we actually start at 10 o'clock as opposed to the 7 or 8 or sometimes 9 or 10 minutes that Hank and I get to butcher and kill at 10 o'clock every day, which I like a lot. But don't let me forget my list of racetracks when Hank comes back, assuming he comes back. Religious groups in Croatia are up in arms over the imminent arrival of shock rocker Marilyn Manson for a concert. But rallying to the banner of free speech and perhaps a little shock value of his own, Manson has found one unlikely defender, a Catholic priest. Maybe the priest likes him. How could Manson turn young people into Satanists and drug addicts in the 2 hours of his act? Daily newspaper Vesnik quoted priest Anton Bobas as saying, Bobas, who leads a heavy metal band of his own called Glasnici Nade, Messengers of Hope, says most of Manson's critics have never heard his songs or even seen him perform. The lone priest finds himself fighting a rearguard action. Rearguard.
Rectum.
Now, the priests know a lot about that. Against Christian groups from the Istrian Peninsula ahead of the concert August 22nd in the northern Adriatic town of Pula. Protestant organization Oaza, which sounds a little like... Protestant organization wants the concert banned, while 7 Catholic priests offered to pay damages to the organizers if the concert was canceled, arguing that the band's lyrics and image promote Satanism, drug use, and violence. Well, what's wrong with that?
Right.
Bobas said the best concert he ever attended was seeing Manson live in Hamburg, Germany 3 years ago. But even Bobas tempers his support. Despite the music, Manson was a rather dark persona, and he wouldn't recommend anyone, especially young people, to attend the concert. So in other words, he wants the concert to go on, just don't anybody go there. Oh, makes sense to me. WQAM, hello.
Hi, Neil. F. Mary Abraham.
That's a good choice.
Yeah.
Who?
F. Murray Abraham.
I have no idea who that is.
I always wonder who would F. Murray Abraham.
Who is it?
It's an actor. He's a very famous actor.
F. Murray Abraham?
You.
I never heard him. Who is that?
It's an actor. He's a famous actor.
Who dat and where he be at? F. Murray, what's he in?
Let me do an IMDb.
Yeah, I think you guys. I think it was a setup call. Sounded like one of the Hasidim calling in. I think he's got his tzitzes too tight. How can I not know F. Murray Abraham if he's a famous
nice
actor?
Jewish boy, too.
Oh, is he really? Well, no wonder. Maybe he's rocking it right now over there in the Gaza Strip. They're rocking back and they're davening. We're not going to leave. We're going to burn down the house. We don't want some schmata head moving in here. In the meantime, they got the worst schmatas on their heads. It's a battle of headgear. When the history of the human race is written some dark day, it'll turn out to all be a battle of headgear. It's not that my God is better than your God. It's my headgear. My schmata is better than yours is.
That's right.
Nah. I got a better kippah, man. I got a better skull cap. In fact, wasn't it Skull and Bones was that thing at Yale? And of course,
right,
I told you I saw that Roberto Calvi documentary. Well, it was a documentary, I guess, MSNBC. They actually had a good show on over the weekend. Roberto Calvi, the Vatican banker, who's portrayed in Godfather 3. That's one of the good things about Godfather 3, was that Vatican banking scandal. And, of course, he supposedly hanged himself in London, and it's very obvious that he did not. It was a moiter.
Did you ever see
Amadeus? He was the
Amadeus?
banker for the Mafia. He was the banker for the Freemasons, which is not good, the PI. And he was also a banker for the Il Vaticano. So he was hanging out with some really nasty people. And now he's dead.
So did you ever see Amadeus? I'm trying to find a movie that you might have seen. Okay. Because he's made like a million movies, 78.
I'm sure I've probably seen him, but it's one of those people. Is he like a star or is he like a character actor?
Character.
Oh, well, okay. But he's ugly.
Oh, yeah.
Well, who needs him, man? 19 before 11 at 560 WQA.
Thing about those greatest hits collections from the 70s and 80s is all the wonderful memories the music brings back. But what about all the great times you've had recently? Now you can relive those memories with The Greatest Hits of July 2005, featuring all your favorite hits from the greatest month since June 2005, with great songs like Don't Ya from the Pussycat Dolls and Busta Rhymes.
Oh, boy, does that song take me back. It was July, and I remember it was hot out.
Or this one from Kelly Clarkson.
Here I am.
Wow, that's a real blast from the past. I remember it was July because the weather was really hot.
Or how about this classic from Will Smith?
I remember it like it was last month. Time sure flies when it's hot out.
And coming soon, look for the greatest hits of August 2005, featuring a lot of the greatest hits from the greatest hits of July 2005, but with different memories, mostly about how it got even hotter.
I'll tell you who'd qualify for the poll, except for the fact that he's not in radio. Well, he's in radio, sort of, like on the fringe of it, is Matty Bell.
Oh,
boy, if he isn't one of the nastiest looking. And I'll tell you another one in radio is Petey Lenny.
Yeah.
With that accordion skin face, with that leather, the leather look. I'm not talking about clothing, I'm talking about the skin.
It's red, rough, and sore.
That's not a personal knock, at least not on Petey Lenny anyway, Matty. And see, one thing about life is that even if you're ugly as sin, you can still talk about other people being ugly. It's like if you're fat, you can still say, look what a fat slob that is.
Sure. You ought to know.
Somebody says, how about cowboy western actor Jack Elam? Yeah, every time we do an ugly poll of any kind, Jack Elam always gets some votes. Let's get Jack Elam on there. He was kind of crusty looking. Rusty and crusty. 5670560. You think the Brits have problems with the... Well, here's a different kind of that they're having problems with. A severe shortage of sperm donors. Government plans to make fertility treatment more accessible to single women and lesbian couples are likely to be ineffective because of a severe shortage of sperm donors, a leading fertility expert in Britain has told The Guardian. Those Brits, well, what do you expect? All the Brits are
gay.
Anyway, which doesn't mean they don't have any sperm, but it all depends on where they want to put it. Proposals to urge fertility clinics to be more flexible in who they offer treatment to are outlined in a Department of Health consultation paper this week. Many clinics only offer fertility treatment to heterosexual couples to ensure they comply with the 1990 Human Fertilization and Embryology Authority Act.
Huh?
Oh, I didn't even know that there was a 1990 Human Fertilization and Embryology Authority Act in Britain. It states that clinics must consider the welfare of the future child and specifically the need for a father figure before offering treatment. A father figure. For your father.
Figure.
The Common Select Committee on Science and Technology last year concluded, I knew it was you, Fredo.
You broke my heart.
Yeah, that was on again over the weekend, Godfather 2, and they had the unedited version that goes on for about 75 hours.
Yeah.
My God.
That's great.
And Hyman Roth, the hotel's here. It was all of those lines, all those corny lines you're always quoting from Godfather 2. I'm wondering how come, the henchman that he took to kill Hyman Roth.
Right.
Why didn't he just have like a silencer? And although it was just bad timing, I guess. They all came marching in there, and the nurses came in. Oh, my God. He got his.
Al Neary?
No, that wasn't Al Neary.
It wasn't?
No, it was the big, the tall, ominous-looking guy with the totally black
Oh,
outfit
yeah,
and
that's
hat.
right. I'm going to have to look him up.
Al Neary didn't get killed. In fact, don't you remember he sent Neary to visit the bishop?
That's right. I'll look him up.
The Common Select Committee on Science and Technology in Britain last year concluded the act to be offensive to unconventional families of single parents and single-sex couples. Bill Ledger, who runs a fertility clinic in Sheffield, said the government's proposals were laudable but unlikely to be effective because of legal changes in April that removed the status of anonymity from sperm donors. Under the new law, any child born from a donor sperm can request to know the identity of their biological father when they turn 18. Well, I guarantee it won't be any member of the royal family. You can be sure of that.
Really?
Man, there's a whole bunch of queens in that family. I beg your pardon?
I said Raleigh.
So who was that guy? We haven't found it yet?
No.
Godfather 2. You'll never find it. He was Michael's bodyguard in Havana.
Right.
Can't you envision him right now?
I can envision him. He was a big, scary...
And Superman? Can you envision Superman? Yeah, Johnny Ola used to bring me here all the time. I knew it was you, Fredo. You broke my heart. He was so good in that, Michael Corleone, Al Pacino, whatever his name was. In fact, he was always good until he did one thing. That was the end. That was... Although the other one, Scent of a Woman, that preceded the hoo-ha, I think. Oh.
I thought that's the same movie.
Oh, that is the same one. You're right.
All right. Confusing.
You're absolutely, and you didn't even see it, did you?
No.
Good choice.
That's how I do by elimination, because it's like the one I haven't seen.
What a horrible movie that is. And he got an Oscar for that. It just goes to show you, he didn't get the Oscar for any of the Godfathers, I don't believe. But he gets I guess it's called make-up time. It's like in a ball game, a make-up call. Umpire blows a call, and then all of a sudden we get a make-good call. Or like in hockey, same thing. Call a bad penalty, and then they have to have a make-good later on. How about that hockey season? By the way, Rimmer wishes that the Panthers lose every game. Iraq's parliament agreed to a 7-day extension for leader. How come you're so newsy lately? Because I feel like it. How's that? Remember that guy, that New Yorkie guy? Go back to New York. Please. Iraq's parliament agreed to a 7-day extension for leaders to complete a draft constitution after politicians failed to reach a midnight Monday deadline to agree on the charter. Parliament adjourned after voting to extend the deadline till August 22nd, acting on a request from Kurdish leaders for more time. Oh, the Kurds and Ways and Means Committee? Shiite, Sunni, and Kurdish framers. See, are you a person? Are you a human? Let's take the country you live in. Are you an Iraqi, or are you one of these religious, one of these sects? See, people think that sex is the problem. It's sects. That's the problem. Everybody's divided into their sect and subsect and this and bada-beep. It's crap. Don't label me. That's what they're saying.
Gay.
Oh. Shiite, Sunni, and Kurdish framers of the charter had reached a tentative deal late yesterday, agreeing on issues ranging from oil revenues to the country's name, but putting off decision on the most contentious questions, including women's rights, the rule of Islam, and possible Kurdish autonomy. Efforts to meet the August 15 deadline showed how determined Iraqis are to maintain political momentum under intense U.S. pressure, but their failure to agree was a clear sign that their sharp political divisions are far from over, is what it says here. Where's this from? This is from the A&P. Which sure ain't in the same league with Loblaws.
To award him the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
There was a Bubba on there. I'm sure you knew who that was. He's no Rita Cosby. I'll tell you that. Well, our hero, and I don't care how you pronounce her name, because I heard her pronounce her own name. Everybody in the media is calling her Cindy Sheehan, okay? She pronounces it like I did, Sheehan, okay?
I knew some Sheehans.
She probably hung out in the Sheehanee Alps once upon a time, back in the day, doing it old style, although I don't think her kind hang out in the Sheehanee Alps. Do you?
No.
Undaunted by counter rallies and even neighbors' gunshot blasted into the air, a woman whose son died in Iraq said she'll continue her anti-war demonstration near President Bush's ranch for 3 more weeks. We can't give up no matter how hard it gets, Cindy Sheehan said yesterday, more than a week after she started the protest in memory of her 24-year-old son, Casey. Sheehan's makeshift campsite along the road leading to the ranch has grown to more than 100, and hundreds more have stopped to show their support. On Sunday, as about 60 in Sheehan's group held a religious service, neighbor Larry Matledge fired his shotgun into the air twice. Sheriff's deputies and Secret Service agents rushed to his house. Didn't arrest him, of course. I ain't threatening nobody. I ain't pointing a gun at nobody, Matledge said. This is Texas. Gosh dang. Matledge said he was initially sympathetic toward the demonstrators, but that they blocked roads in the area and caused traffic problems. He said he fired his gun in preparation for the dove hunting season, but when asked if he had another motive, he said, figure it out for yourself. She, in 48, said she wasn't concerned with her own safety, but has told others to be aware that this could get physical, even though we're peaceful. I think we knew the risk when we came down here, said Sheehan of Vacaville, California. I'm surprised we haven't had more of that since we're in Bush country. Sheehan said she won't leave Camp Casey until Bush meets with her, and during his month-long ranch visit or his vacation ends, she met with 2 top Bush administration officials on the first day of her protest. And, of course, El Presidente, he's just got to get on with his life. You understand that, don't you?
I do understand.
Yeah. In fact, here's that story. I do. President Bush, noting that lots of people want to talk to the president, and it's also important for me to go on with my life, on Saturday defended his decision not to meet with the grieving mom of a soldier killed in Iraq. Bush said he's aware of the anti-war sentiments of Cindy Sheehan and others who've joined her protest near the Bush Ranch, but whether it be here or in Washington or anywhere else, hey, where are you at? There's somebody who's got something to say to the president. That's part of the job, Bush said on the ranch, and I think it's important for me to be thoughtful and sensitive to those who have something to say. But, he added, it's also important for me to go on with my life to keep a balanced life. Oh, my God.
I have no life.
The comments came prior to a bike ride on the ranch with journalists and aides. It also came as the crowd of protesters grew in support of Sheehan. Sheehan arrived earlier in the week with about a half dozen supporters. As of Saturday, there were about 300 anti-war protesters and about 100 people supporting the Bush administration. In addition to the 2-hour bike ride, Bush's Saturday schedule included, wait till you hear this, he's got more important things to do than meet with that bitch.
All right.
Saturday's schedule included an evening Little League baseball playoff game, a lunch meeting with Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, a nap, some fishing, and some reading, like the Weekly Reader. Somebody read it to him. I think that people want the president to be in a position to make good, crisp decisions and to stay healthy, he said, when asked about bike riding while a grieving mom wanted to speak with him. And part of my being is to be outside of exercising. On Friday, how about exercising your brain if you got one, okay, Dumbo? On Friday, Bush's motorcade drove by the protest site en route to a Republican fundraising event at a nearby ranch. As Bush rolled by, Sheehan held a sign that said, why do you make time for donors and not for me? Good question, Cindy. No answer, of course.
I don't talk to you little people.
No answer.
Shut up and make more
Bushmaster.
babies. By the way.
Yes?
Buscetta, Michael's bodyguard, was played by Amerigo Tot.
I'll be damned.
There you
Amerigo Vespucci?
No, I'm right here.
Who is the ugliest? That guy was pretty ugly, although nobody would know who he is, so there's no point in putting him on the poll.
There's no
Pretty
picture
ugly
even
guy.
on the IMDb.
Who is the all-time ugliest male celebrity? Movies, TV, radio, tea rooms, whatever. We got, how many votes so far? 288. We got a shot at 400 today. Now, the kids are back in school. I'm tired of excuses, okay?
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing about the summer doldrums and the dog days and vacations and the kids are back in school, which, by the way, it's just unacceptable that they're back so early. I know you disagree, but
yeah,
it's just
no,
it's ridiculous.
Keep them in there. Just lock
I think
them in
all you kids ought to go on strike.
12 hours a day.
Marty Feldman, 80. Hank Goldberg, 50. Mo Howard David, 26. Carl Malden, 19. Sly Stallone and Neil Rogers tied with 18. You sly old fox. Lyle Lovett, 13, moving up fast. James Woods, 13. Charles Bronson, 11. Owen Wilson's only got 10. Ron Jeremy, 7. Hey, you're ugly, Ron, and you're hairy, and you're fat, and you're disgusting. W.C. Fields, 7. Peter Lorre, 4. Gene Wilder, 3. Red Skelton, 3. Edward James, almost 2. Almost human-looking. Phil Henry's got a pair.
Are you sure?
Jack Elam, 1. Bela Lugosi's got 1. And F. Murray Abraham, Willem Dafoe, and Richard Boone so far have got the big...
Oh! This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
Your favorite female foursome is back on HBO with a sexy new show in a sexy new city, Baghdad. It's Sex and the Sunni with Carrie.
I'd slaughter the entire Northern Alliance for this Vera-winged furka.
Miranda.
Just when I thought I met Mr. Right, he blew himself up.
Charlotte.
I think my new boyfriend, Osama, has been hiding on me.
And sexy Samantha.
Those studs at Abu Ghraib could put me in a naked pyramid anytime.
Sex and the Sunni, the most explosive comedy of the year.
There goes another one. Too bad. He was cute.
Yes, Samantha, like you need another man.
Tell me about it. My love life is like a camel stampede. It's one hump after another.
Sex and the Sunni on HBO, right after Curb Your Militant Islamic Enthusiasm.
I think that was a good idea, that Ask Friday on our website, and we can put it back on the beaded curtain again.
All right.
I don't think it even needs to be on the beaded curtain, right? We don't have to have, you don't have to be over 18 to look at ass.
Not for now, I guess.
Not yet. That'll be starting in November. But at any rate, let's do that. We'll have like a half a dozen different asses on there, and then we'll have like different choices, A, B, C, D, E, whatever. Including and we don't have to tell them whether it's a male or female ass. I mean, you know, generally there's a pretty good difference, but not always. For example, that picture you got of that Syrian broad right now, she easily could be a guy.
Right.
I don't care what you say. That could be a guy.
All right.
And then we'll give them the turn. And then, like on Monday, we'll give them the answer. Not a good idea. Keep them hanging over the weekend. We'll give them something else to vote on. See if they can recognize.
We'll give them
ass.
like multiple choice. You know, whose ass is this?
That's what I just said. Isn't that what I just said, John?
Did you say multiple choice?
New internet worm targeting Windows. A new internet virus targeting recently uncovered flaws in Microsoft Corp's Windows operating system is circulating on the internets. An antivirus computer software maker said yesterday the Zotab virus appeared shortly after the world's largest software maker warned of 3 newly found critical security flaws in its software last week. Oh, that Bill Gates man, what a lunkhead. Including one that could allow attackers to take complete control of a computer, eh? Trend Micro Inc. said that the worm exploits security holes in Microsoft's Windows 95, 98, ME, NE, 2000, and XP platforms and can give computer attackers remote access to affected systems. Hundreds of infection reports were cited in the U.S. and Germany, Tokyo-based Trend Micro said. But computer security engineers at Microsoft said that the worm is only targeting Windows 2000. So far, it's shown a very limited impact. We're not seeing any widespread impact to the internets, but we remain vigilant, said Stephen Toulouse, manager at Microsoft Security Response Center. Stephen Toulouse-Latrax. The latest virus drops a copy of itself into the Windows system folder as botzor.exe and modifies the system's host file in the infected user's computer to prevent the user from getting online assistance from antivirus websites. The worm can also connect to a specific Internet Relay chat server and give hackers remote control over affected systems, which can be used to infect other unpatched machines in the network and slow down network performance. Since most users may not be aware of this newly announced security hole, so as to install the necessary patch during last weekend, we can foresee more infections from worm Zotab, it said. Last Tuesday, Microsoft issued patches to fix its security flaws, part of its monthly security bulletin. The problem affected the Windows operating system and Microsoft's Internet Explorer web browser. Another good reason to use, Firefox.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
As if we need any extra reasons to be using Firefox and not that antiquated Internet Explorer that opens up the door for all of those pop-up ads and all of that crap. That's the only one thing I would agree with you about on that CapitolHillBlue.com. I love the website. In fact, I got Doug Thompson's article today, which I'm going to get to eventually if I get around to it. But it's one of those websites that has along with it a lot of baggage in terms of pop-ups. Only one worse is the Fudge Report. Oh, my God.
You ferret.
That thing is always popping up, and the ads, too. You ever look at that?
No, I don't.
Oh,
ever.
Good idea. Bad for your health. So Doug Thompson in the rant writes, I wasn't going to use this now, but why not? Is Bush out of control? Doug Thompson's the founder and publisher of CapitolHillBlue.com, a great website that George resents bitterly for some reason because it's probably the pop-up ads. By beleaguered, overworked White House aides enough drinks, and they tell a sordid tale of an administration under siege, beset by bitter staff infighting, and led by a man whose mood swings suggest paranoia bordering on schizophrenia. Kind of like that. Like the religious nuts, like those crazy bastards davening there in Gaza. They describe a president whose public persona masks an angry, obscenity-spouting man who berates his staff, unleashes tirades against those who disagree with him, and ends meetings in the Oval Office with, "Get out of here." That's nice.
Works for me.
In fact, it says, George W. Bush's mood swings have become so drastic that White House emails often contain weather reports to warn of the president's demeanor. Calm seas means Bush is calm, while tornado alert is a warning that he is PO'd at the world. Decreasing job approval ratings and increased criticism within his own party drives the president's paranoia even higher. Bush, in a meeting with senior advisors, called Senate Majority Leader Bill Frist a GD traitor for opposing him on stem cell research. There's real concern in the West Wing that the president is losing it, a high-level aide told me recently. He's losing it over here. A year ago, this website discovered the White House physician described antidepressants for Bush. The news came after revelations that the president's wide mood swings led some administration staffers to doubt his sanity. I thought we were onto that a long time ago.
Yeah, on site.
Although GOP loyalists dismissed the reports as anti-Bush propaganda, the reports were later confirmed by prominent George Washington University psychiatrist Dr. Justin Frank in his book, Bush on the Couch, Inside the Mind of the President. Dr. Frank diagnosed the president as a paranoid megalomaniac and untreated alcoholic whose lifelong streak of sadism, ranging from childhood pranks like using firecrackers to explode frogs, to insulting journalists, gloating over state executions, and pumping his hand gleefully before the bombing of Baghdad, showcases Bush's instabilities. I was really very unsettled by him and started watching everything he did and reading what he wrote and watching him on videotape. I felt he was disturbed, Dr. Frank said. He fits the profile of a former drinker whose alcoholism has been arrested but not treated. Dr. Frank's conclusions have been praised by other prominent psychiatrists, including Dr. James Grotstein, professor at UCLA Medical Center, and Dr. Irving Yalom, MD, professor emeritus at Stanford University Medical School.
Oi!
Dr. Frank's, as a recovering alcoholic, says Doug Thompson, sober 11 years, 2 months, and 9 days. I know all too well the symptoms that Dr. Frank describes, and after watching Bush for the past several years, I have to unfortunately agree with him. Conversations over the last few weeks with longtime friends who work in the Bush White House confirm even more what Dr. Frank says and others have suggested. The President of the United States is out of control. How long can the ship of state continue to sail with a madman at the helm? Like that. How you like that?
All right.
A madman at the helm. Sounds like QAM. 5670560, pound 560 on the Verizon and Singular Wireless line. WQAM, hello.
Neil God.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Neil. You know that Macklin guy? He shares a common border. He's George Bush's, next door neighbor. And, if he would have shot that gun off in protest of the war, they would have been over there in suits.
Yeah, okay. That was pretty good, huh?
Yes.
So he's your neighbor. He said he's George's neighbor. I thought your neighbor died already.
Next door.
5670560, pound 560 on the Verizon Singular Wireless line, the ugliest all-time celebrity, and whatever else you got, which obviously isn't much. That's pretty unusual, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes.
I have a Godfather question.
God. Oh,
please,
what did
Neil.
I do to deserve this? What have I ever done?
Where was Alfredo doing his dad's funeral?
There was no Alfredo in the movie, okay? Fettuccine. He was making fettuccine. Go away. Get some help. Yeah, fettuccine. She was hanging out with, what's her name, the fat slob. What is her name?
Kirstie.
Kirstie Alley, yeah. I'm trying to forget. I don't know her. Kirstie Alley from Gene Alley. See, you don't even know who Gene Alley is, do you? Former Pirate shortstop. Huh? Rennie Stennett, nope. Gene Alley. Now we're talking, baby.
Oh!
WQAM, hello.
Hey, Joe Baxter?
Senator? Yeah. Oh, that's it. WQAM, hello.
Hey, I want to put one on Neil's poll.
Yeah, I bet.
We can't forget Steve Buscemi, one of the ugliest men ever to be on TV.
Okay.
Can you stick that on there?
We'll stick it. Thanks, Pally.
Thanks,
we'll
Rob.
stick it right on Neil's poll. 5670560, pound 560 on the Verizon and Singular Wireless lines on a fantastic Tuesday, man. August 16th, it's the middle of August. They only got about a month to go on this on this great summer schedule. Not that I'm counting the days, you understand.
No.
WQAM, hello.
Careful, Neil. The president's feeling a bit typhoonish today.
Yeah.
What a madman. Oh, we got 3 more years.
Abu Ghraib.
I have a name for your poll. The
Yes, sir.
very ugly lady, the comedian Sandra Bernhard.
Is the ugliest male celebrity. Okay, great. Now, that's ironic, because when I told you Thursday I was going to do the females, who did you mention?
Sandra Bernhard.
Okay, well, keep that in mind for Thursday. That's the one for Thursday. Today's only Tuesday, last time I checked. I beg your pardon?
It's going to be between her and Babs.
What about Rosie O'Donnell?
Well, there you go. There's a
what
contender.
About, huh?
There's a contender.
Oh, there's a lot of ugly broads. Trust me when I tell you. How about Shelley Winters? I don't know if she was all that ugly, just fat. Just disgustingly. She looked like she was drowning in a sea of fat.
When she was very young, remember, she was svelte and good-looking. And then
was she, Shelley Winters?
She porked up.
She started looking a little more like Jonathan Winters all the time.
Yeah.
12 minutes after 11 at 560. We got Mo Howard David in it, too. Okay? He's going to be along to just dazzle you with his stuff. Now, we still want to know where that poll wound up. We want to see the final result of that poll. We don't want, at the Sun Sentinel. What are you laughing about? Yeah. Come on, Sarney, you phony. See, he takes these polls when they don't turn out the way he likes, and then not only that, but he takes the polls and he lets the guys over there at the ticket, or whatever that thing is, the faucet, he lets them goose it up there in the beginning so they can go on the air. I bet you nobody on our station even talked about that, did they?
No.
Well, how would you know?
Exactly.
Like you listen to the sports shows? My God. When you start listening to the sports shows, then I know there's no hope for the world, okay? That'll be the day when I start listening to sports shows. Although I will say this, I think that they got the audio from the...
Yes.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very excited, and I'm very honored to being presented by Tennis Canada, and it's a great part, for me, and representing my country as I can.
There's some good sports radio. That's the Fan. Although I shouldn't knock them because they're our good friends.
On the next episode of MTV's Pimp My Space Shuttle.
Yo, astronaut boy, remember them 2 protruding bits of heat shielding? Affirmative. Well, we ripped them bad boys out and hooked you with these banging subwoofers. Check it. That is dope. Over. All right, now let's take a look inside. As you can see, we ripped out all them complicated instruments and whatnot and put in a 32-inch plasma monitor with PS2. Houston, we have a PlayStation.
That's all tonight on MTV.
Consider this reusable spacecraft pimped. Roger. I mean, Rogizzle for shizzle.
Oh, God. Save us from all this crap, please. Will you do it?
No.
Oh. 11:18 at 560 WQAM. Here's Gene Rogers. Is becoming really chronic. You're a good guy, Gene, but cut the crap. He says, how about Don Imus for the pool and Wayne Huizenga? And lastly, Don King. That sounds like three choices, but three good ones, I would say. Especially Don King. Nice dude, Don. Mm-hmm. And by the way, Don, where you at?
The dude, Don.
The dude, Ron. That was, let's see, the Crystals, and then Sean Cassidy. The unctuous, the talentless Sean Cassidy, who I guess always lived in the shadow of his brother. There it is.
By Sean, no less.
Now, was that the do Ron Jeremy or somebody else?
No, you do Ron Jeremy.
No, thanks. Maybe Al Wilson would like to do Ron Jeremy. What do you think? Okay, that's enough. Hey, Sean. Get ready for World War III, writes Paul Craig Roberts. His website is antiwar.com, by the way. You remember somebody said, well, when you read some of this stuff, let us know where it's from. Okay. It's from NeilRogers.com, too. It's already on there. Isn't it, Josh?
That's right.
Get ready for WW3. With every poll showing majorities of Americans both fed up with Bush's war against Iraq and convinced that Bush's invasion of Iraq has made Americans less safe, the White House moron proposes to start another war by attacking Iran. Vice President Cheney's already ordered the U.S. Strategic Command to come up with plans to strike Iran with tactical nuclear weapons. Bush refuses to meet with Cindy Sheehan, instead using his vacation time at the Crawford Ranch to talk war with Israeli television. In a recent interview with Israeli TV, Bush said, all options are on the table with regard to Iran. Likud Israel is Bush's last remaining ally, or egger on, in his war against Islamic terrorism. Israel, which is loaded with nuclear weapons and is not a signatory to the nuclear pacts, is the accuser against Iran, asserting that Iran's nuclear energy program is just a veil behind which to produce weapons. Israel's Likud party fears that Iranian weapons would be a check to its plans to complete the dispossession of the Palestinians and further expand Israel's borders. Iran has signed the Non-Proliferation Pact and is willing for the IAEA to monitor the nuclear energy program. Bush, however, dismisses all facts and assurances and is willing to attack Iran based on nothing but Israel's paranoia. Bush can ignore the American public because the Democrats, like the Tory party in the UK, have completely collapsed as an opposition party.
Absolutely correct, sir.
The Republican Party is now increasingly referred to as the Republikud Party. The only check on Bush is the lack of U.S. troops. Bogged down in the Iraqi quagmire, U.S. commanders are stating that a third rotation of our exhausted and demoralized troops in Iraq can be avoided only by troop withdrawals next spring. However, on August 11th, Bush nixed the military's task of reducing U.S. troops in Iraq. The next day, the commander of U.S. logistics in Iraq announced that the number of insurgent attacks on U.S. forces along supply routes has doubled in the last year, making it clear that far from winning, the U.S. is not even holding its own. Cindy Sheehan has the right question for Bush. What noble cause is being served by all this suffering and destruction? Bush is in hiding from Mrs. Sheehan because he knows only ignoble causes are being served. According to the CIA, the main beneficiary of the war is Osama bin Laden's recruitment drives. While America's military recruitment falters and U.S. generals announce that the war has broken the reserves and National Guard, the cause of Islamic extremism basks in an Iraqi war. Gentle reader, do you realize the danger of having a president so disconnected from reality that he plots to attack Iran, a country 3 times the size of Iraq, when he lacks sufficient forces to occupy Baghdad and to protect the roads from Baghdad to the airport? Despite all high-profile sweeps of U.S. forces through insurgent strongholds, U.S. commanders report a doubling of insurgent attacks. The Bush administration is insane. If the American people don't decapitate it by demanding Bush's impeachment, the Bush administration will bring about Armageddon. This may please some Christian evangelicals conned by rapture predictions, but WW3 will please nobody else. You see, they're always making fun, like I said last week, of the Muslims and the 7 virgins and all of this other crap, the martyrdom, all the baloney. Well, what's the difference between the fundamentalist Christians?
Headgear.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's it.
Better get yourself some new schmatzes, man. People are starting to see through you.
They're both Middle Eastern religions.
Starting to develop a big, ugly bald spot. Well, speaking of Middle Eastern religions, you know. Right there in the heart and the hotbed of all this stuff in Jerusalem, man, with the Christians and the Jews and the Muslims. All I can say to that is, cocksahois. Cut the crap. Pick your poison. Pick your superstition. Pick your mumbo-jumbo. And then you got those, who are the ones that flagellate themselves with the chains? Isn't that in the Far East they do that?
And the Catholics do it in South America.
Oh, that's right. They flagellate themselves with the chains. They're flagellating it right now. And this is religion, man. Hocus pocus. How can any of you people be so ignorant, so stupid? Don't you have a brain?
No.
Oh, that's right. You listen to QAM. I forgot. 5670560, pound 560 in the Verizon and Singular Wireless line. Come on, Jim Sarney. Where's the results of that poll? Do we have to wait for Friday so you can dummy it up a little bit, doctor it up, and put some like whipped cream and a cherry on it to try to like make it a little bit more appetizing? Is that what you're going to do, Sarney? You lump. There are people I refer to as a lump. You know what I mean by a lump?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, just a big old lump. WQAM, hello. All Lump Radio. Yes?
Hi.
Yeah. What do you got, Pally?
I got nothing.
Yeah, I know. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
I had a question. I guess I've been in a vacuum the last few weeks. What happened with the whole Karl Rove thing? It seems to have...
What Karl Rove thing? What Karl Rove thing? You didn't mean Valerie Plame went up in
Yeah,
flame?
there we go.
Oh, I don't know nothing about that.
It like fell off the face of the earth all of a sudden.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we had important things, like the space shuttle and the runaway bride, and then we got that missing chick in Aruba. We got important stuff going on.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Chicken Aruba.
Right.
Well, 3.5 more years of misery. What can I tell you?
Good luck to you, Pally. I'll see you at the border.
Thank you, sir.
See you around, eh? I don't know. The sun is shining here. It's very pleasant. It's like upper 70s, low 80s every day.
It's shining here, too.
Well, that's good. I'm happy for you.
Blazing.
Only we don't have Jeb Bushes. Yeah, we got low humidity. It's a real. Yeah, we had some had a hot spell, but now things are lovely. By the way, speaking of Gaza, speaking of those Farbisten on both sides, crazy people, I'm not going to leave my house. I'm going to tear it down. I'm going to burn it down just to make sure no Arabs live in my house. I see. Huh. Sounds like they're really getting their act together. And, of course, keep in mind, these are the extremists, like I'm always telling you about the Israeli. I have a real problem with that whole thing. I have to give you a little bit of credit, not too much, a little bit of credit for it, because I thought I was being fairly objective about this like 3-4 years ago. And then I realized that my Jewish brainwashing, even though it didn't hold on the religious grounds, on ethnic grounds it had like, I looked with a jaundiced eye.
We all do.
And then I realized that, they've had 38 years of occupying this territory. What the hell are they doing there, okay? What are you doing there?
War's over.
Just by it's an excuse to justify, oh, you see how they're reacting with these suicide bombers?
Yeah.
We're crazy, so they're crazy too. I see. Well, you're all crazy. Anybody who wants to live there has got to be crazy. Oh, no, we're going to go to a kibbutz and we're going to kosher the house.
This is Neil Rogers. This
kosher
is
this, Cheryl.
560 QAM. Time to get it on.
Absolutely.
She's oily, soily, and old. Looks like this Quaker Oats guy. Smells from the body roll mold. Barbara Bush has 40,000 eyes full of her eyes popped out. It happened when she realized she raised 4 criminal clowns. Barbara Bush has 40,000 eyes. And she's nasty, old and crafty, and she raised 4 poison Nazis. She's atrocious and takes some bricks to anyone who says they want no voice. Walks like she's carrying a bowling ball between her thighs and has
Rectum.
40,000 eyes. She doesn't need to score, as if she's always surprised. Teeth wiggle when she talks. Barbara Bush has 40,000 eyes. She gave us George Bush and Jeb Bush, not to mention Neil and Robin Bush. Filthy rich and fat, and smells just like the magic sauce on a Big Mac. Barbara Bush resembles Ernest Borgnine on a bad day with 40,000 eyes.
What is Adnan Pachachi from Iraq? Remember he used to be on that show, Joni and Pachachi? Remember that?
Oh, no. Joni loves Pachachi?
It's 11:33 at 560 WQAM. A pickup truck tore through rows of white crosses last night near President Bush's ranch, where Cindy Sheehan has been protesting the war in Iraq. The crosses stretched along the road at the Crawford, Texas camp, bore the names of fallen U.S. soldiers. Nobody was hurt, except the soldiers who are all dead. Meanwhile, court documents reveal that she and his husband has filed for divorce in California. The couple were high school sweethearts, but Cindy says they separated because of the stress caused by their son's death. And the public is like that. When's the next reality show on? When are we going to get more of that, the Gotti show, the Growing Up Gotti? Yeah, Throwing Up Gotti. I saw about 4 seconds of that last night. Ooh. Channel surfing. Why does an outstanding network like A&E put a pile of crap on like that? Can you answer that?
And they think it'll make some money, I guess.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Now, let's see. I was watching on Biography. What a great channel that is, Biography. Is that? Oh, I better not ask about that. Not only can't we say anything in terms of language, but we can't say anything because we might offend some sponsor out there or somebody who might someday be a sponsor or somebody who either is in business now or was in business. You know, if I said that once upon a time I got real bad gas eating at the Famous 100 years ago, even though the restaurant was great, I got real bad gas. Oh, gee, they might come back someday. You better watch it, you know. We are your wuss station. Make no mistake about it, okay? We are your wuss station for the new millennium. When in doubt, we always wuss out. Just like that thing with the poll at the earlier poll they took in the Sun Sentinel. Remember that? Oh, don't say anything about it. Just ignore it, you know. About your favorite sports talk station and your personalities and yada, yada, yada. How come they didn't put any midday people on there? They always pretend that I don't exist, see? Mm-hmm. We got these big, gigantic numbers and kick everybody's ass, including Rush. In fact, speaking of Rush, I was just watching Darren Kagan on there moments ago on CNN, the Certainly Not News Network.
Better you than me.
And I just can't, every time I see her, I can't stop thinking about the fact that he is rolling around on top of that. Talk about unclean, Oh, there she is.
Segregated.
Oh, you and Rush are doing it. You're like actually naked in the same room with us.
She's
touching Isn't that a disgusting thought? No, she's kind of attractive. She's not bad. But I looked at her now with 4 jaundiced eyes every time I see her, with Marty Feldman eyes.
She's a whore.
Oh, that's bad. But now that you mention it. Now, let's see. That's his third wife already, the pious, hypocritical pill-popping Rush that's always pointing fingers at everybody else and a bunch of perverts and degenerates. That's his third wife.
Well, at least he doesn't have sex out of wedlock.
Right. Right. Martin in Fort Myers says, thank you for the great job you're doing. I love your website and its content. I usually spend about an hour every day to read most of those stories. Thanks for the effort. Well, I'm glad you enjoy it, Martin, because all our audience, most of them want to see our naked pictures. They want to see ass. They want to see boobies. They want to see privates, and they want to see ass.
Absolutely.
That's all they care about. 90%, 98% of the audience and of America, that's all they give a crap about, is just because they're desperate.
I have no life.
It says, unfortunately, most of radio listeners don't have that much time to read, or they're just too illiterate. For them, I'd like to recommend a great site called ChomskyTorrent.org. Oh, yeah, I'm sure they're going to check that out, Martin, where they can download hundreds of politically very disturbing movies and documents. Right. I mean, judging from the fact that we had so many people watching The World According to Bush, which is still there on our website for you to peruse, not to mention the other good stuff like all the other good ones. Among others you can find there, The Power of Nightmares in excellent quality. Well, there you go. That's on our website. You don't have to go to ChomskyTorrent.org to find The Power of Nightmares. It may not be the greatest quality. They won't watch it anyway, Martin. Hope that you'll help to educate the rest of the nation. I hope that will. I don't know. Whatever you say, Martin. Your intentions are good, Martin, but you're naive, okay? You're farting into a windstorm. You're just making a lot of noise and enjoying the sound of it yourself. But unfortunately, like I said, good intentions, you know what happens to those? They go to hell in a hand casket, right?
Right.
Israeli security forces clashed with hundreds of opponents of Israel's withdrawal from the Gaza Strip today, arresting dozens of people. And the roughest confrontation between troops and settlers since the start of the operation. They were actually throwing stale halava at each other. How do you like that? They were throwing stale matzo balls as weapons. The confrontation came hours ahead of a midnight deadline for all Jewish settlers to leave the Gaza Strip voluntarily or face forcible removal. Officials said they were hopeful many settlers would leave the area before the deadline, but also issued a Howard Stern warning of tough action against anyone who resists. We will make every effort, the Army and the police, to have law and order in this process, and anyone who acts illegally will be treated according to the law, Defense Minister Shaul Mofaz told a news conference. Hey, Shaul. I wonder if he's kin to Raul. Probably is, wouldn't you think?
Close.
He said he expected at least half of Gaza's 8,500 residents to be out by midnight. They could move to Brooklyn. Nobody would even know they were there. They could ship them all off to Brooklyn, right?
Right.
The Army said security forces detained 50 Israelis for clashing with police and soldiers attempting to help Gaza settlers leave. When in doubt, get the hell out. Quit rocking back and forth. You're making me nervous. I'm getting vertigo just watching it. Yeah. They're davening, and the Muslims, they're throwing themselves on the carpet and they're rocking back and forth. It's a rock and roll religion, baby. That's what it's all about. They're all rocking it over there. Man, let me say it again, okay? And too bad we don't have more people on the air in America talking about this and all around the world. The religious people are the crazy people. It's just a matter of degree. Because generally speaking, people are incredibly weak. They're like sheep. They want to be led by the nose. They want to be given some big song and a dance. My song and a dance is better than your song and a dance. And you're going to burn in hell, and you're going to rot, or you're going to go to heaven. You're going to get the 7 virgins. You're going to be up there with all the other goyim. The Jews are going to rot, and all this other crap, you know. All this ugly and nasty. And you know what? The bottom line of it all is the hate and evil, and that's what it's all about. Mm-hmm. Besides the money part, of course. That's the main thing. So how's that Roberto, what's his name doing? The one who hung himself. Who? Huh? Roberto Baggio. 21 before noon. I thought he was a soccer player and turned to find out he was the Vatican banker.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Jesus land, Christian park, where you won't go to hell when you die. Woo! Jesus land, Christian park, where ignorance and hatred thrive. Ride the holy roller around. The only roller coaster that never goes down. Riding Armageddon where the hand of God reaches through the clouds to rip all your clothes off. Bang, 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 choosing Christ religion. Bang, 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 abortion doctors too. Shake and bake, you dog for fun to eat. Partaking, fondled by a cartoon character priest.
Our Father that art in heaven, help us answer all the voices in our head. We got our ladies on, we're waving our snakes for Armageddon. When you come, you take us away.
March, march in a bush, snappy hooray. Cool off with a goofy, great dynamic Kool-Aid. Ignorant dicks who want to get their kicks. We put the fun in fundamentalists. Pray to the Lord to forgive you with your choice of fleshly appointed views. Head on down to the revival show. Distort the Billy, heroin, drink and blow. Jesus land, Christian park, where you won't go to hell when you die. Jesus land, Christian park, where ignorance and hatred thrive.
Jesus' last words on the cross.
I'm dying over here.
It's 11:45, 15 till noon at your heathen station, WQAM. Thank God for us, man. Thank
Neil God.
I'll tell you that right now. Mm-hmm. I want to bend over. If I were like Ron Jeremy and double jointed, I'd bend over and kiss my kneecaps. Although I see Ron Jeremy is he's not up to my speed. I got 19 votes on the poll. He's only got 17. You're little league, Ron. You fat tub of hairy crap. He's got more hair on his back than most guys have on their head.
Yeah.
Just ask Mo. He'll tell you. I beg your pardon?
Including him.
Especially now that I got my bald spot. Boy, I got this thing shaved so short, and my hair too. It is so comfortable. Iraqi let me try it again. Iraqi MP defends Lucifer. See, I'm tongue-tied because this story is so amazing. Defending Lucifer. The devil looked in on Iraq's parliament last Wednesday when a member of parliament upbraided Prime Minister Ibrahim Jafari for speaking ill of Lucifer. Remember that show, I Love Lucifer?
My favorite.
Cameron Karhi Saeed, a Kurdish MP and a member of the minority Yazidi community that worship the peacock angel. Oh, yeah. That's my favorite angel is the peacock angel. They only watch shows on NBC. Also known as Lucifer, angrily interrupted the Prime Minister during a parliamentary debate. My Prime Minister and my ministers, my speaking out might seem strange to you, but we feel insulted when you repeatedly use the expression in your speeches and statements, God protects us from the devil. Each time the word is pronounced, my colleagues turn toward me as if I were a representative of the devil. When's New Jersey going to make them change the name of the hockey team, Josh? Just like in Tampa. The Devil Rays. Oh, my God. Remember that big Timmins they had over there?
Are they going to have to mess with the Indian teams in hockey?
Such as?
Oh, I don't know. You tell me.
Yazidis followed a pre-Islamic religion, which some believe was founded in the 12th century by Sheikh Uday bin Masfayal al-Almawi. Oh, he was my favorite sheikh. I liked him even better than the Sheikh of Araby, although many scholars traced its origins to the Zoroastrian religion of Asian Persia. Sheikh Uday was born in Damascus but died in the town of Lalish in northern Iraq, where his tomb had become the Yazidis' holiest shrine. Oh, man, watch out for those Yazidis. The community was still largely based in the foothills north of Iraq's... It is just so ridiculous. It's so pathetic. The community was still largely based in the foothills north of Iraq's main northern city of Mosul and in the Sinjar Mountains on the border with Syria. Watch out for those naked Syrians. The women look like guys. But followers of the faith could be found throughout the Kurdish diaspora in neighboring Syria and Turkey, as well as the former Soviet republics of Caucasus or in Germany and Britain. Saeed said there are 600,000 to 700,000 Kurdish Yazidis, and they feel insulted whenever you use that phrase, and we call on those in position of authority to take account of this. In other words, cut the crap. Lucifer, my ass. The Yazidis did not believe in heaven or hell, did not regard Satan as evil. In fact, they worshipped him, but dare not say his name. Oh, no, the love that dare not say its name. You know what I'm saying?
Gay.
Oh. 3 of Iraq's 275 MPs belonged to the sect whose members did not marry outside the faith. There were also 2 Yazidis in the 111-seat regional Kurdish parliament. And, of course, those Kurds want to have their way. Jafari says he meant no harm in using the expression common among Muslims. He said when we use this expression, it's not to insult you or to provoke a minority. Even if religions are different, all agree on the need to respect one another. No, we don't. Especially in this forum where respect for others is essential, but one must also respect the majority, and the majority is Muslim, eh? Okay, so take your Yazidi and take your Satan and stick him where the moon don't shine. Take your pitchfork and stick it.
Rectum.
Right. Right under that schmata you're wearing. I will say this, the Iraqis are better dressers than the Saudis.
Well, yeah, because they're mostly, moderate.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, the Saudis, do all of the Saudi citizens wear their... Is that just the royal family, the princes, the sheiks?
The royal family just wears fancier dresses.
Oh, I like that ring around the forehead, those black... what do they call that? That's the whole, the schmatten place, right?
That's right.
Man,
you don't
ring
want
around the forehead.
You don't want it to blow off.
Governor linked to alleged girlfriend cover-up. Poor Arnold, man. His approval rating is now down to 34%. Well, you know something? The people of California deserve what they got in California. You deserve them, okay?
Yep.
We got Jeb Bush. That's bad enough. And the people of Florida deserve that. Anybody foolish enough to put that lying piece of crap in there again who helped with Catherine Harris to fix the 2000 election, and they reward him by re-elected. Oh, we like Jeb. We like Governor Jeb. Man, must be that great family he's got. Isn't that it?
Yeah,
they'll show those perverts the Clintons a thing or two or three. Governor Schwarzenegger now faces allegations that hush money was paid to a woman to keep quiet about an affair the two had years ago. In the last few weeks, it's been a difficult time for the governor, who had to drop a multi-million-dollar deal with Muscle magazines after the public found out about them. It's now been alleged that the same publisher paid off a woman to keep quiet about her relationship with Schwarzenegger. It was the National Enquirer that first reported that Schwarzenegger had a long-running extramarital affair with a young actress named Gigi Goyette, who I'm sure is no relation to Phil Goyette, who used to play hockey for the Montreal Canadiens. Oh, by the way, speaking of Roberto Calvi, I was just thinking, most of the people in America wouldn't know Roberto Calvi from Nick Salvi, who used to drive at Pompano Park and had a horse called the Consigliere. I bet you didn't know that.
Did not.
2 years later, the Enquirer's publisher negotiated a multi-million-dollar deal with Schwarzenegger to make him an editor of Muscle magazines. In fact, the Consigliere was in the race when Niatros raced at Pompano Park. That's when the publisher also made a payoff to Gigi Goyette, according to a report in the L.A. Times. Right after he announced, the National Enquirer went to Gigi Goyette and paid her $20,000 for her story, says Schwarzenegger biographer Lawrence Leamer, who documented the Goyette affair in his new book called Fantastic. Nothing has ever appeared, so it looks like it may have been a bribe. During the campaign, Schwarzenegger was forced to deal with allegations of sexual transgressions. I have behaved badly sometimes, Schwarzenegger admitted during his candidacy. It's true that I was on Rowdy. Remember that Rowdy movie set? Well, what does that mean, Rowdy?
Oh, you know that very Rowdy.
Yeah, even Linda Blair remembers Captain Rowdy. And I've done things that were not right. I apologize, he said. Oh, boy. That's the catch-all for everything.
I apologize.
Yeah, that's it. No matter what it is. The alleged payment to Gigi Goyette came exactly 2 days after Schwarzenegger announced his candidacy for governor. At the same time, he was negotiating a deal with the publisher which would pay him a minimum of $1 million a year even after he was elected. Schwarzenegger terminated that business. He terminated it. Well, what do you expect him to do? But only after the public found out about it. When you do business with somebody, you don't do negative things about them, says Leamer. If he was going to be the executive editor of the Muscle magazines, then he expected that they wouldn't write negative things about his sex life, and that's exactly what happened. Exactly. The news scandal comes at a time when Schwarzenegger is trying to repair his image with the voters. It takes a notch down in his favorabilities for sure, says San Francisco political consultant Don Solom. I wonder if he's kin to Don Francesco. It's bound to affect his favorability, and it's bound to take it down. The recent scandal has taken a toll on the governor politically. 6 months ago, his approval rating was at 65%. The figure has been cut about in half. A bad sign for a governor who's trying to convince voters to support his initiatives in the special election. The governor's office had no comment for CBS 5 in California. How do you like that? Liar, piece of crap, and his wife don't have any chin, but she sure plays a mean chin ball. How's that poll come? We're going to make 400 votes today or what? What do you think?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Got 398. See, if we got a bunch of naked pictures of Britney Spears doing it with a moose today. How do you like that? Just go to NeilRogers.com.
I think she calls him Kevin.
Yeah. Oh God. Talk about. Well, if I were her, I'd tell him to vamoose. I'll tell you that. He is grotesque. But hey, maybe it's the same thing. Maybe with Lyle Lovett. Maybe there's something there that don't meet the eye.
And he smells too.
Does he really?
That's what ex-girlfriends have said.
Oh, jeez. You know who else used to smell real bad was James Dean.
That's right, I heard that.
They said he was terrified of holding a bar of soap because he had this habit of dropping it all the time.
He wouldn't, but Natalie would.
Oh. Well, if she wouldn't have used so much Tide. Let's see. Who's the all-time ugliest male celebrity, movies, TV, radio, whoever? Marty Feldman, 102. He's got those Barbara Bush eyes. Hank Goldberg, 55. Poor Humper, man. Maybe if he'd lose an ounce or two, maybe 100. Saw Hank, I'll say it again, on the Arlington Million race on... Oh, and it was Kieran Fallon. Boy, them European jockeys are sure great. You know what? Frankie Dettori, Kieran Fallon. What do you know about it?
Huh?
Marty Feldman, 102. Hank Goldberg, 56. Mo Howard David at 34. Yeah, but you haven't seen him since he got his new do. Lyle I Love at 31. Neil Rogers, 21. I'm tied with Carl Malden, 21. Ron Jeremy, 19. He's right on our ass. Sly Stallone, 19. Owen Wilson, 15. He's starting to edge up a little bit. He ain't no big Wilson. Oh, I had another one for here that should be on there. I forgot to put Bela Lugosi, and that's Boris Karloff, who really, without makeup, was really, really ugly. His face was like a mountain range, man. It had like peaks and valleys and, wow.
Hills and hollers.
Yeah, let's get him on there. James Woods is tied with Owen Wilson, 15. Chuck Bronson, 12. W.C. Fields, 8. Edward James, Almost Human. He's annoying. He's got 6. Phil Henry's got 6, also annoying. Don Imus, 5. Jack Elam, 5. Peter Lorre, 5. Steve Buscemi's only got 4. How do you like that? How the mighty have fallen. Richard Boone, 4. Paladin. Have Gun Will Travel. Gene Wilder, 3. Red Skelton, 3. Wayne Heisinger's got a pair. They hate you like poison, Wayne, and wish you would die a wicked death. And by the way, how's your gay son? Don King, 2. Bela Lugosi's got a pair. F. Murray Abraham and Willem Dafoe. See, I don't feel so bad now that we got 400 votes. We got a shot at 600 today. Oh! If we don't get 600 votes today, we're throwing in the towel. We're going to start playing Russian mazurkas 10 to 2 tomorrow. How do you like that? Get the music queued up. Get it ready. Or maybe we'll just play old jingles.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
This is Mark Morgan. It's the 12 to 1 hour on QAM.
He is Bush's nominee, John Roberts. Republicans think he is supreme, John Roberts.
Are you sure?
John Roberts. He is just 50 years old. Roe v. Wade he won't uphold, but he looks great in a robe, John Roberts. Democrats don't think he's best, John Roberts. He won't pass their litmus test, John Roberts. John Roberts. The right wing likes his beliefs, the left wing will give him grief. Time to look inside the briefs of John Roberts. If you think this will get messy, just you wait till Rehnquist dies. John Roberts. He is Bush's nominee, John Roberts.
Well, speaking of John Roberts, I got a story in a little bit. Roberts wrote in 1985 that Memorial for Fetuses was a good way to draw attention to the abortion tragedy. I just mentioned that in passing. Here's a really good one for the poll somebody faxed in. John Madden, and you are...
I have no life.
Absolutely correct, sir.
How you like that? John Madden. He is really gruesome. Not to mention fat. See, one thing about some fat people, now like me, I don't have a fat face. No. My fat is all from like my nipples to my thing.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
That thing there?
That thing. But some fat people got like fat jowls. Like Hank has got a fat face, right? And like John Madden, his face is like you could slap it on Mount Rushmore, it'd be just as big as the statues there. Oh, and I keep speaking of Mount Rushmore, I keep forgetting to buy you North by Northwest.
Oh, I forgot all about it.
With Cary Grant and what's her name? What is her name? And James Mason is in it.
It's bound to come on cable one of these days.
And what is her name? Eva Marie Saint.
Oh, okay.
I bet you there are 10 people that remember Eva Marie Saint. She was in On the Waterfront with Carl Malden and Marlon Brando and Lee J. Cobb.
I remember that.
Remember Eva Marie Saint?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful blonde. But at any rate, here's some good news. Swap Shop emergency hearing canceled. Hey, Preston Hen. Yeah. Everybody call up Preston and say, he'll understand. He'll probably relate to you. He'll probably answer like that. An attorney for the Hannaford Family Circus this morning canceled a request for an emergency hearing against Swap Shop owner Preston Hen. David Burkeson said he pulled the injunction request, which was set to be heard by a Broward judge this Thursday, because the Hannafords have moved off the Swap Shop property on West Sunrise Boulevard near Fort Lauderdale. The emergency request had asked the judge to keep Penn away from the Hannafords as they tried to leave the Swap Shop. Keep him away from us. He's like that. Hen ordered the circus off his land last week. See, that's what happens when you hang around with Nick Navarro too much. Nick Navarro. Eventually you lose your mind. Hen ordered the circus off his land last week, citing contract and insurance disputes. Before the Hannafords left, Hen's Swap Shop employees put mechanical boots on the circus vehicles and shut off power to the circus. Oh, it's kind of like QAM. It's a circus. Burkeson also filed a breach of contract lawsuit against Hen last week, alleging that he owes the Hannafords thousands of dollars. Hen and his attorneys have 20 days to respond to that complaint, Burkeson said. How you like that? That Preston and his Hen man at the Swap Shop. And we like them a lot because they might come back. Former sponsor of ours used to do remote appearances there and smell the elephant droppings and the sawdust all commingling. Man, it was just a beautiful thing. Right in the middle of lunch hour. Okay, we got some Julio stuff. It's about time we need to have a lot more Julio stuff on the show. Well, first we had that plane crash in Venezuela. I don't think we have too many Venezuelans listening.
A couple.
3 or 4. Maybe
about 30, man.
Doubt it. A majority of Hispanics born in the U.S. don't think illegal Latino migrants should be given driver's licenses, according to a brand new poll. I guess they didn't take that poll in Dade County, though.
No, them too.
Most foreign-born Hispanics disagree, according to the polling for the Pew Hispanic Center. Foreign-born.
Right.
See, one thing about ethnics, you know, and I'm not talking about Hispanics necessarily, but like certain ethnic groups, like people from India, which we have an enormous number here in Canada, and like if they're like born in Canada, as opposed to born in India, generally speaking, they tend to smell better.
Okay.
Well, I've checked it out.
All right.
6 in 10 Hispanics born in this country, and the same with Chinese. Now, there are some Chinese people born in China who've got a very, I don't know how to describe that funky smell. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I've never smelled a Chinese person.
Oh, geez.
Chinese.
But like Chinese Canadians, they smell really good.
Like maple syrup?
6 in 10 Hispanics born in this country approve of measures to prohibit illegal immigrants from getting driver's licenses.
Right.
While 2/3 born... What was that?
Oh, sorry.
What was that? Was that you?
Yeah.
What was it?
It was an outburst. I said, that's right.
No, it's not that. It was the brakes on some truck right out on the street out there. It wasn't you. Anyway, while 2/3 of Hispanics born in another country disapprove of such measures. The difference between foreign-born Hispanics and native-born Hispanics on the driver's license issue highlights the disparity between the two groups on several issues. Foreign-born Hispanics take a more positive view than native-born Hispanics on whether immigrants strengthen the U.S. Almost 9 in 10 foreign-born Hispanics say immigrants strengthen the country, while 2/3 of Hispanics born in the U.S. feel that way, according to the poll. So 90% if they're like foreign-born, and only 2/3 if they were born in the USA, because they're onto their old spouse. Among Latinos in the U.S., there's a What was that? What the hell was that for? It's starting to sound like one of those stupid sports shows now where they drop in those inane things at the most inappropriate times, like on those stupid sports shows. 2/3 of Hispanics in the U.S. said undocumented migrants help the economy by providing low-cost labor. Again, foreign-born Hispanics were more upbeat about the impact of undocumented migrants than those born in the U.S., Most Hispanics feel the number of immigrants coming into the country should stay the same or be reduced, with only 1/3 saying the number should increase, according to a poll done for Pew and another poll done for Time magazine. 3/4 in the Time poll of 503 Hispanic adults said people in the U.S. illegally are taking jobs that U.S. citizens don't want. The Time poll was taken from July 28th to August 3rd. Oh, we got that Louis Farrakhan story on there, too. I don't think I printed that out. It's on our website today. He agrees with that they're taking jobs that even blacks don't want. Most Hispanics feel the number of immigrants, let's see, 3/4 of a Time poll, just got through reading it. The Pew study also looked at how Mexicans feel about trying to get into the U.S. Almost half of Mexicans, or 46% surveyed in May, said they would go to the U.S. if they could. Well, who the hell would want to live in Mexico? About 2 in 5 said they'd be inclined to go live and work in the U.S. without authorization. The desire to migrate is not a phenomenon of the poor and poorly educated, Suro said. The inclination to migrate is powerful in the middle class in Mexico. Even those with college education, they would say would go to the U.S. if they could. It reminds me of that scene in The Godfather 2, which I just told you I saw parts of. I couldn't watch the whole thing yet. Where Batista announces that his position is no longer tenable.
Right.
And he's hauling ass, you know.
And everybody else gets up before he even gets finished talking.
And they're all hauling ass. Yeah. Fredo, come with me, Fredo. You'll be safe. Fredo, it's the only way out tonight. And then, of course, Kay lost the baby. Well.
It was an abortion, Michael.
It was an abortion, Michael. It was a boy.
I would bring another one of you, Guinea Goomba.
Yeah, that was great. And then you can just see the blood boiling in his eyes, man, just foaming at the mouth. Oh, so speaking of Julios, Alberto Gonzalez, George Lopez, and surprise, Jennifer Lopez are among Time Magazine's 25 most influential Hispanics in America.
Increíble.
Gonzalez, the nation's first Hispanic attorney general, was born in San Antonio to Mexican immigrants who worked as migrant workers when he was young. He could be nominated for a position on the Supreme Court before President Bush's term ends, God forbid. The magazine notes in its August 22nd edition that the former Texas Supreme Court justice has helped Bush build a more muscular executive branch. Yeah, I think fascist is the word you're looking for. Kind of like Abu Ghraib. That mentality there, right. Another list maker may have Capitol Hill motivations. New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson is widely seen as a future presidential contender. Time writes his name recognition may be low. In fact, more people know Bobby Richardson than Bill Richardson, but his resume is impressive. 7 terms in the U.S. House, ambassador to the UN, Secretary of Energy under Bill Clinton, and last year, first Hispanic chairman of a National Democratic Convention. Time reports that funny man George Lopez, whose George Lopez show has had a solid run since its debut in 2002, is one of only 3 Latinos who played lead roles in hit network sitcoms starring Latinos. Well, who would be the other ones? Desi Arnaz.
Okay. Chico and the Man.
Now, what about that fruitcake on that 70s show?
We don't know what he is.
Oh, I know what he is. Gay. J-Lo is a no-brainer for Lista magazine says, embodying the American dream of success through hard work, ambition, no talent, a big fat ass, and the worst movies ever made. Actress Salma Hayek also made the... Salma Hayek is a Juliet?
She's Mexican.
Oh, no. Time writes she plays the showbiz game like a true scrimmager, dodging, scrambling, and tackling much bigger obstacles. Among the top 25 Time Hispanics are Cuban-Irish writer Elisa Valdez Rodriguez. Never trust anybody whose name ends in Z.
That's right.
Cuban-American Senator Mel Martinez, C. And Mexican-American filmmaker Roberto Rodriguez.
Vez.
567. How's Orlando doing? Anybody seen him?
Oh, God.
See, I even played the Kurt one all the time now because Orlando, he shined us. I wonder how his boyfriend is doing. Yeah. One thing about Orlando, he got married long before this whole gay marriage thing got going, you know?
Did he?
Pretty proud of him for that. 567. See, there's no calls on here because in about 30 seconds, as soon as I give the numbers out, or maybe not. I don't really care because when we're doing only these 2 show a week, this summer schedule, I always have myself a big pile. Remember, you heard me forming my pile this morning, as a matter of fact, before the show. Yeah. Always a good idea when you sit down here to have a huge pile because if you count on the audience out there, they're busy, you know. They're busy dodging mosquitoes and looking on a weather map to see if there's any hurricanes coming.
Trying to breathe.
They're waiting to see if the South Florida's ever going to have another NFL football team. See, we shouldn't be running those promos saying we're the Dolphin station, because, quite frankly, we should be proud to say, hey, we are no longer the Dolphin station and pretty pleased about it, and you ought to be too. And by the way, Jimmy.
You fairy.
WQAM, hello. Never did get that final poll from Jim Sarney. I'm sure he's probably going to fax it over any minute. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Neil, about Elvis Presley, he was a dirty racist, and I hope he rot in hell forever.
Yeah, he was real ugly. WQAM, hello.
Hey.
Although he did sleep with Mommy until he was 40. What is it?
Fred Gwynn, the Herman
Fred Gwynn, he was even uglier than John Kerry, right, although he ran better. Fred Gwynn, pretty ugly guy. He's dead, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he died.
In fact, I saw a thing on the biography. They had a show about, every now and then they'll do like a program on a show as opposed to just one person, like they did the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
And they did the thing on, I don't think they ever mentioned about, what's his name, Grandpa Al Lewis.
What about him? That he's not
dead?
I
mean, he's so out, because he was on with Howard all those 8 million times and was,
gay.
Al Lewis, Grandpa. In fact, he was even worse than the grandpa on My Three Sons. Now, let's see. William Frawley, he was the second one, though, wasn't he?
Correct.
Or the first one?
Second Uncle Charlie.
I mean, he was also on I Love Lucy, William Frawley. He played Fred Mertz. But who was the first Uncle Charlie on My Three Sons?
I'm going to have to look it up.
And what's his name was doing Farrah Fawcett, supposedly. The one I liked from that show. What the hell was his name? Rob?
Oh, I don't know.
Come on, you can do it. You know his name, Don Grady.
There you go.
From the Grady Bunch. Well, I sure would like to see that Grady Bunch. 12:13 at 560 WQAM. For years I've been telling you about Dry Concepts, the best carpet cleaning company around, but did you know that Dry Concepts can also save you hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars by doing other things for you? Dry Concepts also specialize in drapery cleaning, upholstery and leather furniture restoration, mattress cleaning, oriental rug cleaning, pet odor treatments, water damage too. Dry Concepts can also clean and restore your tile and grout quickly and efficiently. Dry Concepts professional staff always looking for new things to help you with keep everything looking brand new. During the month of August, take advantage of their Summer Sizzler No. 2 package and water damage special. Dry Concepts, from carpet cleaning to tile and grout cleaning, it's the only place to call. They do it all for you, and they give you a written guaranteed price up front before they start the job. No rip-offs, no scams. That's why I've used them for over 20 years in my homes. You ought to be doing the same. In Dade, Broward, and the Palm Beaches, call them toll-free, 1-800-248-5071. That's 1-800-248-5071, or on the wicked web, it's dryconcepts.com.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 AM.
If you see a petri dish sitting out in the lab, there's a pretty good chance there. Stem cell can. I got me a tumor, it's as big as a whale, and they say that they can fix it with some stem cells. Right now I'm lightheaded, I feel kind of funny, so hurry up and get that funding money. Stem cells are super little cells that can make us better. Stem cells, baby. Stem cells, baby, stem cells. Stem cells, baby, stem cells. Bush says, don't go so fast, they gotta last every stem cell. Well, they're sitting right there in a cryogenic tank in an old petri dish. Go on and make a wish. Turn into a liver, turn into a heart cell, turn into a kidney. Do it all with stem cells. So a stem cell is a clever little cell that we can harvest forever. Stem cells, baby. Stem cells, that's where it's at. Splicing and a dicing, hacking and a whacking. Save them in your freezer, you can be an old geezer. My illness is tragic, but stem cells are magic. So everybody pass them around and around and around and around. Stem cells, baby, stem.
Don't forget what your fat-ass governor says. Always choose life. Choose life, like Terry Enders. Right. As opposed to all those innocent people dying over in Iraq. But then again, it was worth it.
They shouldn't have attacked us.
Now, you made a bad mistake about that. You sure don't know your My Three Sons stuff.
What?
Because somebody faxed us the cast and the dates they were on the show, and you were absolutely incorrect, sir. William Frawley was Bub. He was Gramps, 1960 to 65, and then he had the nerve to croak.
I printed that up, by the way.
Well, so you're like showing up your own mistake. Well, at least, you corrected your bad error.
My bad. What do I know about that show?
Evidently something, because you know the names of all the people on it. Fred McMurray from K-9 Mutiny.
Right.
William Demarest was Uncle Charlie from 65 to 72 after William Frawley, Fred Mertz of Fred and Ethel Mertz fame and I Love Lucy, croaked. He went to that big sitcom in the sky. He's dead. He's rotting in a box. Just like, what's her name? Just like, what's her name's sister on Passions? I can't even think of her name now. That idiot. Well, you watched that show. You ought to.
Oh, yeah. What's her name?
Barry Livingston, Stanley Livingston. Now, were they, like, related? Chip and Ernie? They were both very ugly. And Tim Considine was even uglier. And the character he played in it was Mike Douglas. Oh, my God. Remember the Mike Douglas show? I sure hope not.
Nope.
Oh, and speaking of that, I got to go into my pilot file. You won't believe this. Josh will believe it because he already saw it, put it on our website. If he read it, he may not. He may have just slapped it on there. Oh, it's some of the worst news ever if it's true. It may not be true. It may just be wishful thinking. Oh, the story about Dick Clark. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, good. No wonder you sound like you're going to. Here it is. Dick Clark. Now, guess who's going to co-host the 34th edition of Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve, live from New York Times Square, December 31st, alleged? Ryan Seacrest.
Ooh.
Two good reasons not to watch. Clark, 75, has been recovering at his Malibu home from a December 6th stroke. He's doing really well, Clark publicist Paul Schefren said Monday. He's walking, he's talking, he's living a fairly normal life. Every now and then he has like a wild bowel movement. Wow. The longtime host of American Bandstand hasn't appeared on TV or done interviews since his stroke, and according to the Inquirer, he was like a vegetable, like a cucumber, like a rutabaga. Last year, daytime talk host Regis Philbin stood in while Clark watched from his hospital bed. You know, I like Regis, but you know what I'm talking about, overexposed? I mean, enough already, Regis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like he's everywhere. Pretty soon he'll be like the next Burt Parks.
It's big, Neil.
He just wants to fine-tune it before he sticks his head out and makes his return to TV. Oh, like a turtle, he don't want to stick his head out yet, said Schefren, who's refused to discuss the impact of what he would only describe as a minor stroke. Well, the Inquirer said he had a second stroke, and he was like a vegetable. Clark said in a statement, "It'll be good to be back in New York again for New Year's, and I'm elated that Ryan has agreed to join me in ushering in New Year's." Seacrest, host of American Idol and a real jackass, a real icehole, has agreed to a multi-year deal to executive produce and join Clark as co-host of the ABC special. I wouldn't plan too far ahead, Ryan. Seacrest will eventually take over as host. Dick Clark is an American icon. I'm honored that he's entrusted me with such a role in this national tradition, Seacrest said in a statement. Isn't that bad news? Wow, I don't believe it. Maybe they'll just wheel him up like a lump on a chair like they did with Kate Smith at one time.
I don't watch that crap anymore.
She was about the size of your fist, and they wheeled her on stage and in a wheelchair, and it was like Maddie Bell, like a lump on a chair. Now, why couldn't they let her just go out and leave us the image of the fat, robust, God bless America, you know, like they play that thing in Philadelphia at the Flyers games. Flyers. Hey, Bobby Clark, you jackass. Here's a fax that says, put Eddie Kaplan on your poll. Yeah, he's kind of an ugly guy. He's got a face for radio. It says, oh, look at that. It says, he definitely has a face made for radio. Have you seen his picture on a QAM website? No, but I've seen him in person more than once. It is not a pretty picture. Also, could you please announce when you're going back to 5 days? Much too soon, Monday, September 12th. Not that I have the mind, in my mind. Not that I'm counting the days. Going too fast. Just zooming by. Buzzio, by the way, won that race with Beef Arbor driving. The consigliere was second in the betting interest in Nitros. Just in case my good friend Dick Feinberg is listening. Hey, Dick, how's those slots coming, baby? Man, you see, one thing in Florida, they have nobody to blame but themselves because they should know that they're going to get scammed by the governor and the legislature. They should have put it in there in Braille, indelible writing. I mean, every detail. You know what I'm saying?
What are you saying?
I'm saying that they screwed up bad. And now you don't have your slots yet. You can't go there and lose all your money right now, which is a shame. I bet you Josh would be there right now playing Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, coming
or maybe. In fact, I bet you Carlos would be there out front. You know what he'd be playing? Sevens. I think they named that game after her. You like garlic?
Yeah.
People tend to love garlic or hate it, but few probably associate it with pain. I know, I guess it all depends on where you stick it. It burns.
That's right.
Nonetheless, it turns out that pain-sensing nerves respond to the sulfur-based chemicals in garlic. Indeed, the same mechanism the body uses to react to the sharpness of chili peppers and spicy condiments like mustard and wasabi is the one that detects garlic, according to a study in Tuesday's proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. A tribute to illiteracy. Where are you at? David Julius. Oh, I sure love his orange Julius. David Julius of the Department of Cellular and Molecular Pharmacology at the University of California, San Francisco, said the finding was made during research on the mechanisms of pain sensation. Julius discovered that when a subset of pain neurons in rats activates a cell membrane channel called TRPA1, the result is a release of brain chemicals that stimulate blood vessel dilation and inflammation. Understanding how such nerves work, he said, can help researchers learn more about how arthritis and some muscular problems develop, like your bad back. You can use, in fact, maybe just smear some garlic on it.
Okay.
You can use these natural products as very interesting pharmacological probes of the pain pathways, Julia said, whatever that means. Susan Travers, no relation to Mary Travers of Peter, Paul, and Mary of Ohio State University, said the most interesting, maybe she's kin to Randy Travers, but I hope not, said the most interesting finding of the paper is that the neurons that respond to garlic compounds are only a subset of those that respond to capsaicin in hot peppers. Is that how you say that? This type of specificity would give some basis for why people can't tell the compounds apart, said Travers, who was not part of Julius's research team. Garlic, sometimes called the stinking rose. Oh, are they picking on Joe again? Garlic, sometimes called the stinking rose, belongs to... Did you ever hear that?
Yeah.
I never did. Belongs to the group of plants called allium, which also includes onions, leeks. Oh, there's nothing like a good leek. Chives and shallots. Remember Gene Shalit with the big mustache?
I do.
All of them produce sulfur-based compounds that make them pungent. One called allicin, I thought he signed with the Leafs, activates the set of pain sensors and is especially prominent in garlic. In addition to its culinary properties, garlic has a long history of use in folk medicine, having been used to treat such ailments as high blood pressure, high cholesterol, even blood clots. Even blood clots. Capsaicin, the chemical that gives hot peppers their heat, is currently a major ingredient in cream by arthritis sufferers. It's one thing about Thai food. I like Thai food a lot, but every now and then you're eating Thai food and you'll see one of those real hot peppers, like one of them red ones sitting in there, you know?
Yeah, I don't like Thai food much.
Really?
Peanuts. A lot of peanuts.
No, a lot of dishes don't have peanuts, but almost all of them, no matter, even if they're not real spicy, they have those little red, whatever those are. And you have to, like, smear them off to the side. 476 votes. We got a real shot at 600 if Josh will just put his pedal to the metal here. Just lean on it.
All right, I'm leaning on it.
Like Bill Withers said, lean on it.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Come, Mr. DJ, step on the freeway. Come, Mr. DJ, the traffic's jamming up. All the cars on the highway ain't going nowhere. Come, Mr. DJ, won't you tell us what is up? Come, Mr. DJ, step on the freeway. Come, Mr. DJ, the traffic's jamming up. All the cars on the highway ain't going nowhere. Come, Mr. DJ, won't you tell us what is up? It's bumper to bumper and wheel to wheel. Need a traffic report so I can learn how to deal. Let's go. Gotta know why we're going so slow. It's a parking lot and I can't take it no more. Backed up, everything's backed up. Is there a crack up? When's it gonna clear up? Tell me, should I take another route? If I'm late for work, I'm gonna get the boot. When will I move? Say it. Yeah. Will it ever improve? Say it. Yeah. Well, I'm ready for it. Tell me about it in a voice so smooth. Tell me when we're gonna move. Come, Mr. DJ, step on the freeway. Come, Mr. DJ, the traffic's jamming up. All the cars on the highway ain't going nowhere. Come, Mr. DJ, won't you tell us what
it's a good machine, man. It's 12:32 at 560 WQAM. Here's Ed in Fort Lauderdale says, speaking of the Merv Griffin show, who was uglier than Arthur Treacher? And I never cared for his fast food joint anyway. They're out of business long since. Don't get all panicky over there. Who's that sales manager? What's his name? Our sales manager? I don't even know what his name is anymore.
Curtis?
Oh, yeah. Arthur Treacher, you got it? I don't think too many people remember him.
Who?
And somebody says Rush Limbaugh, Bob in Fort Lauderdale. Hey, Bob, I hate to break the news to you, but we hate Rush like poison. But he's not in the same league with these other people, like me. Right?
Well, you're about the same.
No. I'm a lot uglier than he is and proud of it.
Nondescript.
On the outside. Not on the inside, though. I'm beautiful on the inside. I love those, it's like Shirley Tweeters and Toady Fields. Oh, fat is so beautiful. No, it's not. Fat is grotesque. Just think of Ron Jeremy with all his clothes on. Oh, that's right. You've seen it. You've already seen it.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry to do that to you in the middle of lunch hour. Lee Salisbury writes from a website called Dissident Voice, Fundamentalist Christianity, a dangerous force when it denies rational scientific thinking. Oh, this sounds like the kind of thing I'm going to read now.
Goody.
He's founder of the Critical Thinking Club of Minnesota and a former evangelical preacher. Former being the operative word. He's seen the light. In fact, maybe he even bought the Flavor Wave Deluxe Oven, which I'm sure you guys are using like I am just about every day
all the
now.
time. Every day.
Yeah. I mean, what's not to like? That thing is so great. And when the, what kind of light is it?
Halogen.
Halogen light. When that thing, it's not going to last forever, obviously. But when it burns out, I'll buy everybody a new one.
All right.
No, not seriously. I just love that thing.
Right.
That thing is so great. He writes, religious leaders hate rival sources of authority. 18th century European Enlightenment thinking, with its concepts of rationalism and science, provided religious authoritarianism with that rival. America's founding fathers, products of the Enlightenment, had the audacity to effectively say to Christianity, worship all you want, but our Constitution doesn't need your influence. Roman Catholic traditionalists and Protestant Christian Bible-based fundamentalists still seethe over this rejection. Then as now, zealous Catholics and Protestants claim to speak for God versus Enlightenment thinkers who boldly experiment with new ideas independent of Christian dogma. Today's clergy shudder if their members hear the Thomas Edisons of this world, whose invention catapulted America to prosperity, exclaim as he did that religion is all bunk. The June 22nd International Herald Tribune carried an article by Peter Watson entitled The Price of Fundamentalism. It made highly pessimistic observations about nations under the influence of religious fundamentalism and America's present trends. Religious fundamentalism in Israel, the Roman Empire, China, and the Islamic world had very destructive results. Israel, BCE, was consumed with religious zealotry and alienated itself from its surrounding Greek and Roman civilizations. Israel's zeal for God got its reward in 70 CE. The Romans annihilated Israel. The Roman Empire's unlikely demise came 3 centuries later. Edward Gibbon, author of The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, blames Rome's fall in part on the ascendancy of Christianity. Buddhist fundamentalism in China resulted in centuries of chaos until the 9th century when the Song Renaissance restored the Chinese civilization. Islam's early success was spectacular. It produced many intellectuals and scientists until fundamentalism gained the upper hand in the late 11th century, leading to a millennium of backwardness which still afflicts the Islamic world. Christian fundamentalism has gained political ascendancy in America. Under President Bush, science takes a back seat to his right-wing religious ideologues. In August 2003, the Government Reform Committee in the U.S. House assessed the treatment of science and scientists by the Bush administration. The report, Politics and Science in the Bush Administration, found many instances where the administration manipulated the scientific process and distorted or suppressed scientific findings. Former President George Herbert Walker Bush a decade earlier stated, now more than ever, on issues ranging from climate change to AIDS research, government relies on the impartial perspective of science for guidance. The current Bush administration has skewed this impartial perspective, generating unprecedented criticism from the scientific community and prominent Republicans who once led federal agencies. In February, the New Scientist reported a survey in which fully half the scientists working for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service said they'd been pushed to change or withdraw scientific findings for political reasons. Fundamentalism's anti-science attitude pervades society. The science journal Physical Review reported in May 2004 that scientific papers published by West European authors exceeded those by U.S. authors in 2003. In 1983, there were 3 American authors for every 1 West European. The percentage of patents, did I say patients?
Whatever.
Patents. The percentage of patents granted to American scientists has been falling since 1980 from 60.2% of the world's total to 51.8%, falling faster than that number for Jimmy Syphilis and Joe Rose on the Sun Sentinel poll. In 1989, America trained the same number of science and engineering PhDs as Britain, Germany, and France combined. In 2004, the U.S. is 5% behind. European scientists now outnumber American scientists in citations awarded. America is behind in cloning and stem cell research, now led by South Korean, Italian, and British scientists. American fundamentalists seek to outlaw stem cell research on the arbitrary and totally unproven premise that life begins at conception, a recent concept contrary to the teaching of St. Augustine and the allegedly infallible Roman papacy for some 1,500 years. Fundamentalists use religious pretexts against scientific and cultural objections. A religious-sounding bumper sticker, like rationality, is usually sufficient to corral the pliant followers. Fundamentalism's dictates on issues are arbitrary and cleverly manipulated to appeal to the emotions of voters. Whether the issue is evolution, gay marriage, stem cell research, abortion, euthanasia, or the environment, the strategy is the same. President Bush's recent endorsement of teaching intelligent design perpetuates the same denial of science. ID proponents have never had an article on ID published in any peer-reviewed scientific journal. They don't conduct experiments that would prove or falsify their hypothesis. Their religious conjecture under the guise of science makes no useful predictions, nor can they model it mathematically. There are no research labs doing intelligent design science because intelligent design is not science, it's religion. Those who can't learn from history are doomed to repeat it as a profound quote by philosopher George Santayana. We used to be fearful that communism might bring America down. History and current trends show the fruit of Christian fundamentalism. It's a far more insidious enemy. It's seducing its gullible adherents with idle threats and false promises. Religious fundamentalist objectives have never changed. They seek vindication for their rejection and want Americans obeisance. Under George Bush, it looks like history is repeating itself. They'll gladly lead our nation down fundamentalism's proven path of destruction, all in the name of their God, which unfortunately is not.
Neil God! This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
It stinks!
Like I said, how do you like that, Mo? Thank you.
560 WQAM.
Don't forget, we got the Mo Meister, Mo Howard David at 2 this afternoon. Followed by the Mad Dog and then Marlins baseball. San Diego Padres. What's the reason for that franchise still being around?
What do you mean?
Although actually they were off to a great start. Are they still in first place in their division?
Well, I mean their division sucks, so that's why they are. But
I just don't understand why the San Diego Padres, the San Diego Chargers, they just that market just has no reason to have any sports franchise. I mean, I know the Padres in '84 won the National League pennant because they beat the Cubs. Cubs blew it. But other than that, and when was the last time the Padres had a good year? Not that long ago, right?
I mean, they're pretty good, you know.
No, they're not. It's just a phantom sports market, like Carolina. You know, same thing. Carolina Panthers, my ass. Carolina Hurricanes, my ass. And you notice how they have to use other people's nicknames? Next thing, they'll be like the Carolina Seminoles.
No, not anymore.
Well, once FSU has to drop it. Thank God that Jeb Bush is involved in important issues like nicknames of college sports teams and Terry and her.
Q.
Thank God that your fat-ass governor is involved in that. Speaking of crooks, like your fat-ass governor, Washington lobbyist Jack Abramoff accused of federal fraud charges in a casino fleet purchase deal. The Sun Sentinel just reporting this. Is wanting to submit to an interview with Florida investigators trying to solve the gangland-style murder of the businessman who sold the boats. His attorney, Neil Sonnet. Oh, God. Bee in his bonnet, it's old Neil Sonnet. Do you know he used to have a talk show on WS News years ago?
No.
And he also was on Channel 6. He was on, like, one of those point-counterpoint kind of stupid-ass shows with Mike Thompson on the far right and him on the far left. Old red-headed Neil Sonnet. Boy, he's an ugly guy. The lawyer, Neil Sonnet, said after a brief scheduled hearing, I got another one, that we left off the poll, speaking of old-time radio people, Stan Major. He makes me look like Brad Pitt. We're going to put him on here?
We're doing it now.
Do you know Stan?
Do I know Stan?
Right.
Remember, Stan was the one that takes credit for introducing us, as it were.
Really?
Suggesting you to, or me to you, whatever it was. Yeah,
Right.
I worked with Stan many times.
Oh, my God. Then you know just exactly how grotesque he is. He's like a gnome. The lawyer, Neil Sonnet, said after a brief scheduled hearing in federal court that Abramoff had expected to meet with Fort Lauderdale homicide detective shortly after the February 2001 slaying of Konstantinos Gus Boulis. The interview never happened, Sonnet said. Now Fort Lauderdale detectives expressing new interest in talking with Abramoff. If they want to view Mr. Abramoff, interview him, I'd certainly be willing to set that up, Sonnet said. He's always willing to cooperate. Well, how do you like that? Funny that should happen, because I just got through seeing the life story of Louis Lepke and also Joe Valachi. I love that when the Biography Channel has the biographies of the different, like Gotti and all the different gangsters, mafia types. And they generally do it like side by each, back to back. I love that. Big Sandy, Montana. Now, before the show, I told you about this story, and you said you've been there or you know where it is?
Yeah, I've been all around.
Oh. No, you weren't in that place that I was. What was the place in Montana?
Lewiston.
No. Gee, I can't believe I forgot already.
I always thought that's where you said you were.
No, it is not.
Shelby.
Not even
Shelby.
Huh?
You've been
Shelby, Montana.
Yeah, I've been to Shelby.
Where all the people had like purple hair. They all look like cartoon characters, man. They all had that mottled skin and like purple hair and
that's in the flatlands.
Big Sandy, Montana. Thousands of quarter-sized toads. All you people that love that movie Magnolia, eat your hearts out, even though George hates it. Thousands of quarter-sized toads have invaded this north-central Montana farming community, causing slippery streets and raising the entrepreneurial spirits of some peoples. The toads started showing up in the southeast portion of town in the past couple of weeks. I have no idea how many thousands of toads are in town, said Charlie Fusar. At times, you just about can't take a step, I've been told. Karen Jasperson said some lawns in town are filled with so many toads it looks like the grass is moving. They're pretty cute, she said. Oh, yeah. Breezy. Well, I hope that they're cute, because I'm telling you, those bufo toads, now, if they could be in movies, TV, or they'd be on our poll. Because you talk about an ugly creature, the bufo toad. Man, are they nasty-looking things. Breezy. Have you ever seen a bufo toad?
Yeah, they're around.
Breezy Baumgarn, who works at the grocery store on Main Street in Big Sandy, said driving in town is a little sticky because the roads are filled with tiny smashed toads. Poor little toads, she said. Remember that song by Rick Nelson, Poor Little Toads?
No.
Everyone keeps running them over. They have nowhere to go. Some are collecting the loads of toads with plans to sell them to pet stores. Others talking about trying them out as fish bait. Larry Ophis, chief of the volunteer fire department, said the toads seem to be migrating from east to west and believes they'll soon be on their way. It was just 2 years ago the town streets were blocked by 10-foot drifts of tumbleweeds. Firefighters had to haul the tumbleweeds away and burn them. The tumbleweeds were a hazard, Ophis said. The toads are just a nuisance. Well, maybe the Lord is PO'd at the people in Big Sandy, Montana. Don't ask why, because he works in mysterious ways. The Lord. WQAM, hello.
Uncle Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Great.
I I got a name for your poll.
Okay.
How about Ernest Borgnine? Even the name is ugly.
Yeah, he was grotesque. And he's
All
still
right.
dead, by the way. Okay, thanks a lot, Pally.
All
Ernie Borgnine, man, he was gruesome. McHale's Navy,
Yes,
was
he
he on
was.
that?
Yes, he was.
He was gross. WQAM, hello.
Yeah, I'm waiting to speak to Neil.
Speaking.
Neil.
Yeah.
How are you? Listen,
Good.
I was listening to your show, and the only thing I think you missed here in this ugly poll is Al Goldstein. This guy's ugly from head to toe.
Yeah, he was in movies. We can't say what kind, but he was in movies.
Well, we
They were
know
like
he was in
X-rated.
movies, and boy, he's enough to make you nauseous. So
Excellent
anyway,
point.
I'd
Thank you.
appreciate it if you stick him on there.
Okay, we'll stick him. Hey, Al, they stuck you. Now, I just had another one on. Buddy Epson. Barnaby Jones gets his man.
Yeah.
He was really ugly. Didn't he just die not that long ago? Buddy Epson, Andy Griffith, a lot of people dying now. Roberts wrote in 1985 that memorial for fetuses was a good way to draw attention to the tragedy of abortion. What was that guy's name that was on Meet the Press? Bill Monroe. He wasn't on there all that long. Lawrence Spivak was the first host of that show, and now that pasty-faced buffalo jackass, that suck-up Tim Russert's on there, which NBC thinks he's a real journalist. Yeah, right. And on MSNBC, they also think that Rita Cosby's a real journalist, too. Oh, let me play that thing again, in case you missed the early part of the show.
Okay.
Rita Cosby.
Die Firma Deutz Antriebssysteme für große Anlagen her, für Pumpen, Kompressoren
I
und
can't understand a word she's
Picking
saying.
up, you talked about your son. I understand it's hard for you to talk to your son about the details of this case. Why is that?
Now, see, she doesn't have laryngitis. She just has no voice.
Is that how she always sounds?
Right. She's on MSNBC now, and they bumped up Mother Tucker Carlson like 11 o'clock when everybody's going to bed. I mean, get serious.
She makes the rest of us feel real.
Yeah, she can't speak. I mean, it makes you nervous watching and listening, even for like 10 seconds like I do, and that's it.
Rita Cosby from Fox News, we stole her away. She's even better than Greta.
Even uglier than Greta, which is saying a lot. Oh, there's one for you. Greta Van Susteren, with all apologies to Mad Dog, who had to be joking that day when he was talking about how hot she is. She's about as hot as the North Pole, although we do have global warming, but nevertheless. Greta Van Susteren, she is gruesome. Huh?
We got her.
Nasty-looking thing. As a young lawyer in the Reagan White House, Supreme Court nominee John Roberts concluded that a group's memorial service for aborted fetuses was an entirely appropriate means of calling attention to the abortion tragedy. Roberts wrote the advice in an October '85 memo after he was asked to review a proposed telegram from President Reagan to the memorial service promoted by the California Pro-Life Medical Association. The president's position is that the fetuses were human beings, or at least cannot be proven not to have been, and accordingly, a memorial service. So in other words, like if you step on a piece of paper on the street.
Okay.
You just step on it as you're walking along. How do you know that wasn't? Can you prove that it wasn't ever life?
What about all the microorganisms?
Murderer. And accordingly, a memorial service would seem an entirely appropriate means of calling attention to the abortion tragedy, Roberts wrote. Roberts, during his confirmation hearing to be a member of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit, had referred to Roe v. Wade, the case that legalized abortion in the U.S., as settled law. Senate Democrats have been aggressively seeking the nominee's innermost thoughts on the 73 abortion ruling by the Supreme Court, and the documents released Tuesday shed more light on it. See, Bill Monroe was from Boston, and so he had this really exaggerated, he used to say abortion, which was very strange. That was Bill Monroe, he's dead. The memorial service came at the end of a 3-year battle over how to dispose of some 16,000 fetuses discovered in February '82 in sealed plastic bags of formaldehyde and stored in a bin outside the California home of a man who had managed a medical lab. The then-closed laboratory routinely examined aborted fetuses for clinics and hospitals. The Feminist Women's Health Center of L.A., which endorsed women's right to abortion, had sued to stop L.A. County from giving the fetuses to the Catholic League for religious burial. Oh, God. The dispute reached the U.S. Supreme Court, which upheld lower court decisions that the county could bury or cremate the fetuses, but couldn't arrange or join in religious services. Maybe Philip Spaulding was in there, too, in the same crypt. Other documents showed that Roberts, 50 in 1985, voiced support for the notion of allowing prayer in public schools, writing that a ruling to the contrary seems indefensible under the Constitution. As a young Reagan administration lawyer, he wrote he would have no objection if the Justice Department wanted to express support for a constitutional amendment permitting prayer. Referring to a Supreme Court ruling issued earlier that year that struck down an Alabama school prayer law, he said, the conclusion that the Constitution prohibits such a moment of silent reflection or even silent prayer seems indefensible. The Alabama law, ruled unconstitutional by a divided court, mandated a 1-minute period of silence for meditation or prayer. Roberts' 2-paragraph memo written to White House counsel Fred Fielding was among nearly 5,400 pages of records released by the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library that comprised a portion of the material relating to Roberts' tenure as a member of the Office of White House Counsel. An additional 478 pages that cover the same subject remain under seal, according to Alan Weinstein, archivist of the U.S. White House spokesman Steve Schmidt said the library had withheld material based on requirements in the Freedom of Information Act to protect privacy and national security. Right. The White House did not hold back any after reviewing those cleared for release by the library, Schmidt said. The library contains an additional 40,000 pages relating to Roberts, expected to be made public before Senate confirmation hearing committee September 6th. Right-wing fascist, and of course from Bush, you wanted it, and you got it, baby. Nazi USA. As a matter of fact...
Yeah.
No, seriously, I should have kept playing that thing we had on there in the beginning there. Y'all better start...
Auf dem Weltmarkt sogar noch ausgebaut werden. Besonders erfolgreich sind zum Beispiel Druck- und Antriebstechnik.
Motorenproduktion in Köln. Hier stellt die Firma Deutz Antriebssysteme für große Anlagen her.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Let me tell you something. The only thing bigger than the 1 to 2 hour is that Debbie Ellis. Boy, is she a cow. Oh!
It's 30 a day plus gas.
Well, I rented Lincoln.
Cash or credit.
And I drove up in the hills.
You want the insurance?
And to recall how it happened, well,
good luck.
It still gives me chills.
What a weirdo.
Followed my map of star houses.
Yikes.
And was shocked to see sitting on her front porch was Angelina Jolie. Well, I walked up like I knew her.
Hey, do I know you?
And I saw her hesitate.
Hey!
But the chloroform started working then for her. It was too late. Put her in my car and rolled the windows down. Now she was my queen and I made her a crown.
Take the stupid crown off me!
And I've got Angelina Jolie in my basement.
I'm in the basement!
And I think I'll keep her there with me.
Hello?
And charge her rent.
I'm not paying rent.
Well, I hope she don't mind. I hope that she'll find that she likes the cement.
I'm in the basement!
How wonderful life is with Angelina Jolie in my basement.
Let's be out of here!
Well, I'm schizophrenic, polar and manic, but I bet you'd give your last cent.
Help me!
To have Angelina Jolie locked down in your basement.
Come on, Precious!
Don't hurt my dog.
I'll do it, mister!
Don't hurt Precious.
I'll hurt your dog, mister!
Then punch the dog in the basket.
Oh, how could we have gone this far into this show and left out...
Loan me $50.
Oh, brother. He's going to go zooming toward the top. Larry King.
Yeah.
Know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
The hunchback suspended one, Larry King. Thanks, who sent that? Ed. Thank you, Ed. Our bad. Let's see. Will faxes and says, some for the poll, Jimmy Walker, JJ from Good Times. I would hardly agree with that. Also, he's got for the sports nerds. Well, we're not doing sports, but nevertheless. Good choices. Iraqis allege abuse by British soldiers. Now, let's see. We're going to make 600 votes today or not? I don't think you're leaning on it, Josh.
I'm leaning as much as I can.
Isn't that what the Duff told you this morning when you came in? Lean on it?
You fairy!
535 votes on the poll. I don't understand why we don't have at least 1,000 votes on there already. They're too busy trying to vote on that Sun Sentinel Bowl about how Jimmy Syphilis sucks on the Dolphin games, which I told you. I knew it. Boring, coma-inducing. That's the operative term. It seems to be the general consensus of opinion, except for the A votes they got from the people inside over there. Probably Dan LeBastard and his boyfriends, like the Booster.
Yeah, I've been getting
that
some really...
Booster, huh?
I was going to say I've been getting some really bad reports.
Well, let's hear it.
I mean, everyone that has listened said it's been really bad. I've heard Joe Rose is okay, but Jimmy is just no
coma-inducing.
Yeah.
I think that's a very genteel way to say it. He's boring. He don't got it. You're not a play-by-play guy, Jimmy. I hate to break the news to you, okay? There's nothing worse than ex-jocks. Ex-jocks as color guys. You got your Pat Summerall was great in his day before he became senile. Who else? What other? Buddy. Now, Buddy Blattner was an exception. Former Giants first baseman 100 years ago, New York Giants. and he was on the Saturday games with Dizzy Dean, who screwed him over, and Blattner got taken off. But he went on to do the St. Louis Hawks basketball team. See, he worked for all these defunct these teams that don't exist anymore. But he was great. In fact, when he tried to retire at KMOX, there was such a fan protest that they had to bring Buddy Blattner back. How do you like that? So he was one of the few great play-by-play guys, ex-jock. But, color guys, there were a few. And then there were a lot of bad ones like Tony Kubek and Pee Wee Reese and people like that. Horrible. And like Tim McCarver, who won't try. And, of course, Denise Potvin. I mean, a real lump. There's a lump, a big French lump, Denise Potvin. Rimmer hates you, by the way, Denise. But name me like an ex-jock play-by-play guy other than Buddy Blattner, who died, I'm sure, long before you were born. You can't do it, can you?
No.
Play-by-play you have to be a broadcaster.
Yes, you do.
And even a lot of them suck, like Kenny Albert, who's just, Marv Albert's son, so therefore he's got the job. Because everybody named Albert, even Herb Alpert, is, I think, doing sports. And it's Tijuana Brass. Kenny Albert sounds like he's got 40 pounds of elephant droppings in his mouth. Like that, kind of like Ross Morton. Do you like Kenny Albert?
Not really.
No, awful. Anyway, what the hell was I talking about that I got sidetracked with that? Oh, about your spy reports about how bad Jimmy Syphilis is doing. It's bad, man. It's really bad. And those people over there at the ticket and the Dolphins organization, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. They had that guy, Mark Champion, who's an excellent play-by-play guy. He'd have been great, like a real guy. He could have picked up the mantle right where Mo left it off. A pass from Zimfer and Weaver, and et cetera. Tinker's ever a chance. But no. Let's just put a bunch of ex-Dolphin shills on there, okay? Well, that's unacceptable is what it is. Even the Mad Dog would agree with that. Shameful. British sold, and I guarantee you we'll never see the real result of that poll. That's my prediction. Because if it was available anywhere, we'd have had it already. Somebody would have faxed it in, or somewhere along the line we'd have gotten the MS. I should have known. I should have kept careful watching. And you'll notice the day that I come back on it was there yesterday, and the day that I come back on the air, it mysteriously disappears if it's unsold because they know that I would have leaned on it and would have goosed up all of our audience out there to vote how they really feel about those embarrassing Dolphin broadcasts. And let me just say one other thing, Sarney. You're such a jackass. You're such a lump. Another lump. And, in all fairness to the guys, as bad as syphilis may be, they haven't even started the regular season yet. You don't go taking a poll on people and how you like them when they've done like 1 or 2 exhibition games. Am I right?
Right.
That's not fair. Wait until they played 2 or 3 regular season games and then let everybody say they suck. But this business of, oh, man, you're such a... See, and this is in lieu. This is instead of a guy who's supposed to be a columnist instead of offering his own opinion. Even if it's a crappy opinion, at least say something. Same guy who a couple of weeks ago wrote that they got all these different names and all they need now is like a real play-by-play broadcaster. Well, that was real ballsy for you, Sarney. That was like right on the verge of saying something. But you just can't do it, can you? Because you want to schmooze. You want to be like the pivot man in that local sports fraternity. Man, oh, man, what an embarrassment. Anybody thinks that we have a real sports writer in South Florida. Not that this is a sports show, God forbid, but we don't have anybody even close. Dave Hyde, like twice a year, writes something that makes sense, that's interesting, that's provocative, or maybe once or twice a year. In fact, he ought to go to California with Tom Jicka and Mr. Hyde. And, of course, Tommy didn't write anything about the ratings about the spring book because he's out getting wined and dined in California, previewing the new Hollywood shows. Yeah, right. Another excuse to, not write anything about the book. Every time I get a great, stupendous book, there's nobody around to write about it. And then Sarah Talalay writes about how I annihilated the Juice Meister. And what's his name, Mark? What do they call him now?
Money Mark.
Money Mark, not ready for overnight time. If he's not ready for overnights, how can he be ready for the middle of the day, huh? Stugatz. You idiot. You quisling.
You fairy.
British soldiers are facing... See, this is the thing about this radio station. The other 20 hours of the day were too passive. We need to be a little bit more aggressive, okay? If you're so concerned that they're fighting a little battle with you, go after them and kick their ass. Like God said, kill every one of them, okay? That's right. Kill your enemies. Don't sit back in. Bada-beep, bada-boop. And the problem, again, is that all these guys, they're in this sports fraternity together. In fact, I was shocked last Tuesday, a week ago today. Remember, I was talking with Hank about it, and he was saying how syphilis sucked? And I said, oh, I know that.
Yeah.
British soldiers are facing fresh allegations of abusing Iraqi prisoners, according to an investigation by BBC's Newsnight Programme. Oh, those Brits, man. Program. Programme. Programme. Oh, man. What a sense of humor with a U.
Cute.
2 Iraqi brothers claim they were beaten with sticks and denied water and sleep after being arrested at their home in Basra and taken to a British base. The brothers say the soldiers abused them in 2003, only weeks after the Iraq invasion. One man says the soldier urinated on his head. In the program to be shown this evening, meaning tonight, well, let's see, it's 6 o'clock there, yeah, tonight. Oh, you'll be able to see that on the, well, I don't know where they're showing it. If it's on the BBC, I guess it'll be on there tonight. You get BBC World?
I think I do.
Do you?
I'm not sure. It's got the digital cable.
I think business as usual. We have to realize it's good to destroy war crimes, settlements. It's good to evacuate war criminals, settlers.
Very good. Very, very good. That was cute. I like that. I like his style.
Who was that masked man?
That was on the BBC. You won't hear that kind of commentary on the Certainly Not News Network, eh? That was good. In the program to be shown this evening, brothers Marab and Assad Zaj al-Sagir. Well, why do we even bother with these names? What do we know? Claimed troops stole their family car in cash. Marab said his brother was tied up after they were arrested, and then they were both taken to an internment camp where they were abused. Marab said they lowered me down while I was tied up, threw me on the floor, and hit me with a stick. I couldn't draw breath afterwards, and I lost consciousness. I thought they would throw water over us, but he got his penis out and urinated on my head. If I would have had a weapon, I'd have killed myself, he said. The brothers haven't made any official complaint. Their accounts are confused. A spokeswoman for the Ministry of Defense said allegations could not be investigated unless they were reported. She urged anyone with evidence to come forward so the claims could be investigated. Birmingham-based human rights lawyer Phil Shiner. Oh, there's another one for our poll, by the way. Herb Schreiner.
Who?
And what about Phil Silvers?
Who?
You don't know Phil Silvers?
No.
Birmingham-based human rights lawyer Phil Shiner is acting for dozens of Iraqis who made claims against the British Army. He says, I think there is fairly clear evidence that there's a policy within the British Army in Iraq of systematic abuse and torture. Others claim female soldiers were sexually provocative during interrogations. Another man said he was held for more than 2 months without charge. He said troops punched him and made him make monkey noises and bark like a dog. Another man said he was held for 31 days without sleep at the old air base in Basra. It all sounds like vaguely familiar to me. You don't know Phil Silvers?
No.
Get out of here. Glasses, ugly guy. I got one for you that you know, and it goes farther back than Phil Silvers. Ed Wynn.
Oh, yeah, well, nobody else remembers him except
Was
you
he
and Boca
ugly
Brian.
or what? Boca Brian remembers him. If it's good enough for me and Boca Brian and even you, it's good enough for this audience, okay? We got a lot of old geezers out there. We're the old fart station now. We're the... what would be a good term for it?
Fossil?
The fossil station. Your fossil station for the new millennium. We're old, we're crusty, and guess what? We got an audience. How do you like that? Mr. Hotshot over there, Mr. LaBastard boy, you silly goose. I was starting to say before Josh interrupted me. Well, he interrupted because he's so tight with Boo, you know? Now, once I found out about that relationship there, I started, my opinion of the Boosters started dropping several notches. You know what I mean?
No, what do you mean?
Well, sometimes you have to judge a person by their friends.
By the company they keep?
Exactly.
Hey, I'd like to read a letter that I'm writing to all white people today in the spirit of unity and understanding. Dear white folk, couple of things you ought to know. When I'm born, I'm black. When I grow up, I'm black. When I get sick, I'm black. When I go out in the sun, I'm black. When I go out in the cold, I'm black. When I get scared, I'm black. And when I die, I'm still black. But you, my white man, when you're born, you are pink. When you grow up, you are white. When you get sick, you are green. When you go out in the sun, you go red. And when you get cold, you turn blue. When you get scared, you turn yellow. And the happiest time of my life is when white people die, you turn purple. And you've got the damn nerve to call me colored.
There was an old farmer who lived on a rock. He sat in the meadow just shaking his fist at some boys who were down by the creek. Their feet in the water, their hands on their marbles and playthings, and at 4:30 there came a young lady. She looked like a pretty young creature. She sat on the grass. She pulled up her dress and she showed them her ruffles and laces and white fluffy duck.
She said she was learning a new way to bring up her children so they would not spit, while the boys in the barnyard were shoveling refuse and litter from yesterday's hunt, while the girl in the meadow was rubbing her eyes at the fellow down by the dock. He looked like a man with a sizable home in the country with a big fence out front. If he asked her politely, she'd show him her little pet dog who was subject to fits, and maybe she'd let him grab hold of her small tender hands with a movement so quick, and then she'd bend over and suck on his candy so tasty made of butterscotch, and then he spread whipped cream all over her cookies that she had left out on her shelf. If you think this is dirty, you can go yourself.
Well, look at that. Pump prices may continue increasing through Labor Day. That's what your federal government says. Thank you, Mr. President, for those very low, reasonable gas prices. And, of course, not that they're raping you or ripping you off. It must be because there's a shortage and they're having all these mechanical problems.
That's right.
Because the king just died in Saudi Arabia. King Fahd, who's been a vegetable for 10 years anyway. Wow. And the public just sits back, ba-da-beep, ba-da-boop, ba-da-bop, and you're like CNN, and they come on there and give you a bunch of propaganda, a bunch of crap. They lie through their teeth. That was lucky again, very fortuitous, that thing I had from BBC.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
So Phil Silvers was Sergeant Bilko. You don't know from Sergeant Bilko?
I mean, I've heard the name, but I've never watched
Well,
that.
you better get with it. You better sit down with, you go to lunch with Bilko.
Hello?
What?
You cut off again for the second time today.
Why is that?
I have no idea why.
For how long?
You did, for like a second or two.
Well, too bad. Keep you on your toes. In fact, how's that?
I like it.
Anyway, Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. This article I love. Another reason to stay the hell away from Mexico if you value your life. Mexicans take over drug trade to the U.S. With Colombian cartels in shambles, Mexican drug lords run the show now. Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. The kingpins of this hemisphere's drug trade are no longer Colombians. In the largest reorganization since the 80s, senior U.S. officials say, "Oh, and guess what? Frank Costello of the mob. He must have been part of what they molded the Godfather after, because he was adamant that he didn't want no drug dealing."
In my neighborhood.
Senior U.S. officials say Mexican cartels have leveraged the profits from their delivery routes to wrest control from the Colombian producers. The shift is also because of the success authorities have had in cracking down on Colombia's kingpins. Well, that's one great thing about the war on drugs. It's just like the war on prostitution.
Yeah.
The more you chase it, the more it keeps moving from one hood to another. And let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Where are you at?
Here you.
As a result, Mexican drug lords are calling the shots in what the UN estimates is a $142 billion a year business in cocaine, heroin, marijuana, methamphetamine, and illicit drugs on U.S. streets. Speaking of marijuana, how's that kid doing? Is he still dead, the one the cops shot up?
Yeah, he's still shot. But
Oh.
it's safer now over there in Sunrise.
Right. Yeah, he had a scale. He had one of those little scales,
That's
you know?
right.
And 2 ounces of pot.
Weigh your ass on it.
He was a danger to the human race. That's what all you left-wing spin doctors better understand. Today, the Mexicans have taken over and are running the organized crime and getting the bulk of the money, said John Walters, the White House drug czar, in a phone interview. The Colombians have pulled back. Oh, gee, I sure hope not their foreskin. Man, what a disgusting thought that is. I'll tell you one thing. There are a lot of really good-looking Colombians. I know I've told you that before, and you disagree. Well,
I didn't disagree.
You didn't?
Shakira's half Colombian.
Who is?
Shakira.
Oh, Shakira. I love Shakira.
We all do.
One consequence of the new dominance of Mexican cartels is a spike in violence, especially along the 2,000-mile U.S.-Mexican border, where rival cartels are warring not only against Mexican and U.S. authorities, but also against each other for control of the lucrative transit corridors. See, there you go. Just like the mafia, man. They're all like the mob wars. Well, it's like all you Julios, man. You all hate each other. Mexicans hate the Ricans, and the Cubans and the Ricans hate each other like poison, and God only knows about the Paraguayans.
Yeah, but these are Mexicans killing Mexicans, so
Ed
it's all good.
says Donald Trump. I mean, bad hair, but I don't
he's
think
ugly.
so. Huh?
He's ugly. He's horrendous.
You want to put him on there?
Sure.
Okay. Donald Trump, you're
let's
saying that
put the
because we
poll
hate him
over
like
to-
poison,
yeah.
which I agree with you on that, but I don't think he's that, put him in the same category with Carl Malden or Marty Feldman.
Yeah.
Okay, or Larry King. Larry
Yeah.
King's got one. Now, we got to get a little push on here to get that 600 votes during the show, man. Otherwise, you're going to be hearing Hungarian Chinese melodies. Starting tomorrow, 10 to 2. I want to see a little action here now that school is back in. No more excuses now. This is the week that we have like the turning point. No more damn excuses. Plus, we have all those naked pictures of Britney Spears on today.
Yeah, all knocked up and milky.
565 votes. Who is the all-time ugliest male celebrity, movies, radio, or TV? Marty Feldman, 116. They can't touch Marty. Number 1, he's dead. Number 2, who'd want to anyway? Hank Goldberg, 78. The poor humper is taking it bad. Lyle Lovett, 55. Look at the way he shot up the list. Mo Howard David at 42. Ron Jeremy, 33. Neil Rogers, 31. Ron slipped by me. Carl Malden, 22. Sly Stallone, 21. James Woods, 18. Owen Wilson, 16. Wayne Heisinger, 15. Man, they hate you like poison, Wayne. They wish you would just crumble, just die a horrible death. Don Imus, 14. Steve Buscemi, 14. Charles Bronson, 14. Jack Elam, 12. Old Jack. Phil Henry, 9. Edward James, almost 8. W.C. Fields, 8. Peter C. Lorre, 6. Don King, 5. Richard Boone, 5. You know what other show he was on?
I give up.
He was on Medic with William Shatner.
Oh, I never watched it.
Huh?
Never watched it.
Well, it's before you were born. Greta Van Susteren, 3. Bela Lugosi, 3. Gene Wilder, 3. Red Skelton, 3. How about Rita Cosby? If we're going to put Greta on there.
Who?
Rita Cosby from MSNBC. You know, Rita, the one that says...
Speaking of, you talked about your son. I understand it's hard for you to talk to your son about the details of this case.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I know we got Lenny Martez on here, but we're like little QAM. We're like a little mom-and-pop station in Miami, you know? But this is supposedly a major network that's supposedly competing worldwide for viewers, okay? No wonder the Peacock is molting all the time. God, pathetic. Rita Cosby, my ass. Red Skelton, 3. Ed Kaplan, 2. John Madden, 2. Boris Karloff, 2. Jimmy Walker. JJ got 1. Larry King, 1. Fred Gwynn, 1. F. Murray Abraham finally got 1. They don't know who that is. Willem Dafoe, 1. And none yet for Donald Trump, Phil Silvers, Ed Wynn, Buddy Epson, Ernest Borgnine, or even for Stan Major. Oh, my God. How fast they forget, you know what?
Yeah.
I might have to play some of those Stan Major bits.
I've got...
I wonder what's his name is doing. Jay Michaels. How's Jay Michaels doing? He's still on?
No.
He's still doing a show?
No.
Oh, that's right. He never did do a show. Boy, did he butcher my audience on INZ. When I went to Zeta, wow. 27 after 1 at 560 WQAM. You're right, I just did.
What? What?
You're not even paying any attention.
No, I was out of the room.
He's out of the room.
I was peeing. Sprinting. I just got back in here.
I thought that there was another spot coming, so I'm making me like a bratwurst.
I knew that I was testifying under oath, and I told the truth. And today, I am telling the truth again, that I did not do this intentionally or knowingly.
The Orioles ain't winning, getting worse with every inning. Mazzilli's afraid he's gonna lose his job.
And did.
Sosa's got no cough. Giambi's in New York. But Palmero shoves those roids down with a knife and fork. We're talking juice ball. Swinging for the fences, talking juice ball. Making mincemeat of the fences. Their testimony's just a bunch of lies.
I have never used steroids.
They're pulling 3-run shots with routine flies. Like Palmero. Sosa and Big Mac.
There's nothing for me to gain and everything to lose. You know, why would I do this during a season where I was
586 votes.
And it just makes no sense.
We get our 600. We'll get there easy, right? Like falling off a log. Yeah, I was popping a bratwurst into my Flavor Wave Deluxe.
And I was
heating up a bratwurst.
In the bathroom. Just sauntering back in here.
Well, there you go. Some of the crashed airliner's passengers alive on impact. Gee, wouldn't that have been something if I wouldn't have been paying any attention and Josh would have had to grab the thing and then tell us all those stories about how Jimmy Syphilis really sucks. So you're getting bad reports, is that what you said?
Yes, I've gotten really bad stuff. I haven't heard it myself yet, so I'm waiting to try to catch that.
Well, I've heard messages from people who have heard it, and they say you can't believe how... And not only him being bad on the game, but the pregame show is so embarrassing and so juvenile and sophomoric and bush league.
I've heard the exact same thing.
Yeah. Pretty nice going over there at the ticket, man. Pathetic. Anyway, contrary to other reports that are going around, the Guardian's usually pretty responsible. They got some idea what they're writing about. They say at least 6 of the 121 people killed on Sunday in Greece's worst air disaster were alive when the jetliner plunged into a mountain outside Athens. Autopsies revealed last night. I'm sure you've heard they were all frozen solid, and the pilot turned blue, and somebody sent a text message. All a bunch of crap. You've seen that, haven't you?
Yeah, I've seen all kinds of things.
Well, they're full of crap. Just like Sky Miles O'Brien and Wolf Blitzkrieg were full of crap at Pearson Airport here about 2-3 weeks ago, eh? Oh, man, how can they both even still be on the air? Irresponsible. Absolutely unacceptable is what it is. Unacceptable. That's journalism. After conducting first toxicological tests, careful, On 6 of the victims, Athens Chief Coroner Philip Koutsaftis said he has found evidence that they had circulation in their hearts and lungs. They had circulation in breath, so they were alive, he told reporters. I can't say if they were conscious or unconscious. If they were unconscious. The Helios Airways Boeing 737 crashed in the mountains near Athens, killing all 115 passengers, 6 crew, on a flight from Lamarca to Prague with a stop in Athens. Rescuers had said that many of the recovered bodies showed signs of being frozen solid, prompting speculation that the passengers had died because of a dramatic drop in the cabin's pressure, and they were comparing it to the golfer. What was the golfer's name?
Martin?
No, not Casey Martin, the gimp, the one that lost control. Huh?
I'm thinking. I forget.
Okay, work on it.
You know how big I am with golf.
However, last night, Greek police arrested a man who claimed to have received a telephone text message from one of the passengers before the crash saying, "Farewell, cousin, we're freezing in here." In other words, it was a hoax. In a separate development yesterday, police and sappers raided the offices of Helios Airways as grief and shock turned to anger against the airline, which operated the Boeing 737. The raid was carried out to secure documents and other evidence which could be useful for the investigation into possible criminal acts. Elite police officers from Nicosia, the island's capital, were dispatched to Helios' headquarters in Larnaca after local authorities, including the chief of police, requested a search warrant. How do you like that? A lot of accidents going on these days. Don't fly. You're, not a good idea. Oh, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't deter me, you know.
No, you fly every day.
Yeah, who was the golfer that his plane? Don't you remember that?
Yeah, I remember it, but all these sports names, they're all the same to me.
And he fell asleep. He became unconscious because there was no air pressure and there was no oxygen in the cabin, and the plane was loose, flying all around.
Yeah,
what the hell was his name? Begins with an L.
Right.
Lenny
Martez.
Oh boy, I remember
Stanley
him.
Livingston.
No, seriously, what the hell was that? Fred Couples. Fred Mertz.
Sure, one of these ringing lines will know.
Okay, well, why don't I answer him? WQAM, hello. QAM.
Yeah, the golfer was Payne Stewart.
Payne Stewart, thank you very much. As a matter of fact, thank you, sir. Not only was the golfer Payne Stewart, but where is that? Isn't that in here? I thought we had a drop in here with Payne Stewart.
We do.
I don't have it. What's it under?
I thought it was under Payne Stewart.
Payne?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I just want Peter Alice to know that all of us American golfers on the Ryder Cup team, we are Chinese too. Thank you very much.
Yeah. How do you like that, Payne Stewart? He's still dead, by the way. Don Stout looked up into the Midwestern sky one afternoon 2 weeks ago and saw a strange helicopter flying over his 5-acre piece of land in rural Albany, Ohio. Before he knew what happened, the 77-year-old longtime resident, law-abiding citizen and Korean War veteran had 8 law enforcement officials swarming on his property, checking the place out for marijuana. Never before having had a run-in with the law, Stout said the heavy-handed-looking group of law enforcement thugs came and went without saying a word after suspiciously looking at a large bush on his property, not in the slightest bit resembling a pot plant. I've been here since '94, and everybody knows me, including the sheriff. I never smoked marijuana, and they know it, but I think they're just terrorizing people, said Stout in a telephone conversation from his rural home, adding he still hasn't received an answer from anyone as to why law enforcement officials invaded his privacy, entered his land without a proper search warrant. It scared the hell out of me as 8 or 10 men swarmed my place. I was weeding my garden. Next thing you know, they're on my property. They looked at this bush and left without saying a word. It was ridiculous, but the sheriff, the deputy sheriff, and the game warden all raided my place for no reason. I'm still looking for an explanation.
Where is this? Sorry to interrupt.
Albany, Ohio.
Okay.
Why, you want some?
Yeah, I do.
Although Stout can't pinpoint why authorities entered his property without a warrant, earlier that day he aired his strong opinions. Earlier that same day, he aired his strong opinions against President Bush, calling him an outright liar on a free speech and truth-telling talk radio show on a popular WAIF AM 770 local radio station. WAIF 77.
Your music authority, WABC, home of hit line.
Well, no, we want to have one that says 77.
This is 77.
Okay. Stout said he had been calling in regularly, voicing his anti-Bush opinions, saying people in rural Ohio are finally starting to wake up to lies, deceit, and treachery imposed on the American people by what he calls a lying dog of a president. I think he and the rest of his buddies are corrupt, downright crazy, and Bush should be impeached, plain and simple, for lying to the people about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, said the former Korean War veteran, who lashed out at Bush for going to war illegally and in the process killing thousands of innocent civilians, including more than 1,800 GIs. I think George Bush is a liar and personally responsible for the deaths of many good young men in order that his rich buddies could profit from this illegal war. He also talked about how he stole the election in Ohio, the 2004. See, Florida 2000, Ohio 2004. Never do it twice in the same state.
No.
Always move it around a little bit. 20 till 2 at 560. WQAM, boy, that bratwurst, really smelling good in my flavor wave. 9 minutes on the first side, 8 minutes on the second side. That's from Pre-Cooked, by the way.
Okay.
I was watching, I don't know, something on the news last night. They showed some pig rolling around in the slop, and I thought to myself, there's your bratwurst, man. Oh. Didn't bother me, though. They clean it up real nice.
They hose it
I'm
off.
sure you can relate to that.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're looking for a high-speed... if you're looking... Oh, and I got a story about that, by the way, before I do the spot.
About pigs?
No. About pigs squealing. Oh, geez, how come I can't find it right this second, you see? That's bad. Hang on, folks. It's not really worth it. Yeah, father and son win French pig squeal-off.
Well,
we'll get to that in a second.
All right.
And Ed Beatty wasn't in it.
There goes your oven.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Could you hear the beep?
Yep.
It's beeping, which is
No
perfect timing because now I can flip it over. Well, I'll wait a little bit. I'll just shut it off. Hey, if you're looking for a high-speed internet service, you want one that's fast, reliable, easy to use. In short, you want the very best. You want the #1 high-speed internet service provider in America, Comcast High-Speed Internet. Its 100% pure broadband network blows away the competition with speed up to 15 times faster than DSL Lite. Download music, photos, streaming video, online games faster than ever before. Simply put, Comcast high-speed internet gives you the very best internet experience going. And with features like the fan, video, email, security manager, and Radio Plus, it's even more intense than ever before. And right now, you can get yourself Comcast high-speed internet for just $9.95 a month for the first 2 months. Call 1-800-COMCAST and get the #1 high-speed internet service in the entire USA today. Certain restrictions apply. Call for details toll-free, 1-800-COMCAST.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
There's 2 new Duke Fords in that orange car. The new Duke's a hazards, man, I can tell you it's the worst remake by far. Daisy Duke's curves that she revealed. Tell me, how did Jessica Simpson get her own movie deal? Movies today, they make my popcorn taste foul. Ain't got no plot no more, but they're really loud. I love the old Duke Fords, way back when I was a kid. Hollywood takes my favorite shows and turns them into bad flicks.
Amen. 145. Carrot Top for the poll. It says, damn it, Carrot Top. How can you get Carrot Top off? Got it?
We got it.
You know what I got?
What do you got? Your
Michael Mayo's column. I just printed it. Just a second.
I'm reading it now based on that fax.
Fax says, read Michael Mayo. Well, about twice a year, just like Dave Hyde, Mike Mayo, who used to be a sports nerd columnist and now is just a general nerd columnist, about twice a year he writes something fairly profound. It says, read Michael Mayo's column in the Sun Sentinel local section about the kid in Sunrise who was killed by the SWAT team in our ineffective war on drugs. Michael Mayo writes, an ounce of pot, 10 bullets, and 1 failed drug war. In the annals of drug takedowns, or is that anals, this wasn't much. 3/4-ounce bags of marijuana in a bedroom refrigerator, a joint and another loose gram on top. 4 grams scattered on a dresser. 6 pipes with pot residue, 3 ashtrays with less than a gram each, 3 packs of rolling papers, and a digital scale. See, I told you he had a scale.
Oh.
Thanks to the efforts of the Sunrise Police Department today, a pothead in West Broward might have to go an extra 10 blocks to score some smoke. And Anthony Diataudo is dead. I still can't pronounce his last name. Sorry, Anthony. All for 30.2 grams of weed.
About 30, man.
A little more than an ounce. The drug inventory above is what Sunrise Police said they found in Anthony's home in the morning. A SWAT unit shot him with 10 bullets in a pre-dawn raid. No coke, no heroin, no ecstasy, no meth. What in the hell were they doing with the SWAT team, asked Eleanor Shockett, a retired Dade Circuit judge who advocates a sweeping overhaul of drug laws. To break into somebody's home at 6 o'clock in the morning, possibly awaken somebody from a deep sleep, someone who has a concealed weapons permit, what did they expect to happen? This is a tragedy that should never have happened. Even if Anthony, 23, was a small-time pot dealer, which his friends and family deny, the methods used to show the madness of our country's war on drugs. No discretion, no proportionality, no sense. Using SWAT in this case is like using a sledgehammer on a fly, said Jack Cole, former narcotics detective for the New Jersey State Police, who heads Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, LEAP, a drug law reform group. I'd much rather use a little bit of stealth, he said. Cole has spent 14 years as an undercover agent, nearly 3 decades as a cop. He doesn't understand why such a huge show of force was necessary, why it needed to be done at 6:15 in the morning, or why detectives couldn't detain Anthony when he left his house for work. When you kick in a door, all it does is alert them that someone's coming that they don't want to see, Cole said. Sunrise Police Chief David Boyett said yesterday he couldn't comment on the specifics of the case, but he said, it's common to serve narcotics warnings early in the morning. That's the time you find people at home. Duh! Broward Circuit Judge John Frusciante on August 3rd granted the search warrant for Anthony's home. According to warrant details released yesterday, Anthony didn't even have to be home during the search. The warrant affidavit said a confidential informant bought an ounce of marijuana from Anthony there last month. That came 2 weeks after an anonymous tipster told Sunrise narcotics officers that cannabis and cocaine were being sold at all hours at the house. Malcontent neighbor. Sunrise Police, I hope the malcontent neighbor is real happy that your neighbor is dead, by the way. Sunrise Police used a SWAT unit to execute the search warrant August 5. A few hours earlier, Anthony returned home from his bartender job in Weston. Police say he had a gun and fled into his bedroom. He had no history of violence. His only run-in with the law was an arrest for marijuana possession when he was 16. He did have a concealed weapons permit, and during their raid, police said they found a handgun, shotgun, rifle, and BB pistol, along with 124 rounds of ammo. Given the August 2004 killing of Broward Sheriff's Office Deputy Todd Fatta and the child porno warrant raid gone bad, Sunrise's inclination to use SWAT for a suspect known to have weapons was understandable, but as Shockett said, why not take him on the street? Why not go to his job and tell him there? Said Cole, when you have a war, there's going to be casualties and there's going to be collateral damage. None of this would be happening if we ended the prohibition on drugs the way we ended the prohibition on alcohol. Cole, 67, is no pot-smoking hippie, but a former drug fighter who knows when to say when. He and 4 others started LEAP 3 years ago. It now has 3,000 members, cops like himself, judges like Shockett, prison wardens, FBI, DEA agents. They've come to realize current drug policies are doomed to failure, a colossal waste of money and lives. Add Anthony's name to the list, writes Michael Mayo. Pretty good column, Mike. Nice going, Mike. No wonder they're not a sports nerd no more. Oh, anyway, here's the squeal-off.
Good.
Yeah, that in case you weren't listening last week, what was it, Thursday, when that SWAT team guy called in?
Yeah, he was that drug dealer.
Well, you know, these left-wing spinmeisters. Yeah, right. Right. Bada bing, you're dead, baby. Yeah, he had a scale. He had one of them little digital scales. Oh, boy. No coke, no heroin, no meth, but nevertheless, he's dead. Father and son win French pig squeal-off. Oh, how perfect that the French win the pig squeal-off. Oh, brother. Johan and Olivier Roussel's performance climaxed in a cacophony of oinks and grunts, unleashing an explosion of applause. But it was only after lengthy jury deliberations that their hopes were confirmed. The father and son team were France's official pig-squealing champions for 2005. Oh! The judges, headed by a former champion, have been impressed by their vocal imitations of pigs in all 4 of the required categories, reflecting key milestones of porcine existence, from noisy farmland birth to death under the knife via suckling and inevitably mating. France's handful of fateful, or however you say that, or I know nothing about French and I'm very proud of it, or crazy festivals attract a regular cult following and throngs of incredulous holidaymakers. One fete features an acclaimed line contest, another boasts a distance spitting competition. Oh, the frog should have no problem doing that. But the annual Pig Festival and French Pig Squealing Championships in Trie-sur-Bois, a remote farming village in the foothills of the Pyrenees, are acknowledged to be in a class of their own. Besides the pig squealing, there were awards in the Sunday competition for pigging out. This year's winner ate 1.2 meters, nearly 4 feet of blood sausage in under 5 minutes, and heavy gambling on the final 8-piglet race. Oh. Stepping up to the microphone and hastily improvised pig outfits.
Wait a minute.
What?
Madonna just broke several bones in a horseback riding accident.
Too bad, bitch. Stepping up to the microphone and hastily improvised pig outfits, the decision to enter the competition had been taken only the night before. The Roussells let rip with a chorus of uncannily realistic squeals, grunts, and snuffles. What is a snuffle? Before the 500-strong audience, topped with a delicately choreographed courtship scene. Ooh. Oh, that must be the one from Deliverance. Wasn't that a courtship scene?
Yeah,
Newcomers to the contest beat 6 other finalists, including regular contender Jean-Paul Luge. But the pair modestly downplayed their win as they wanted to collect first prize, a whole pig butchered and cured with traditional local methods. How do you like that? Leave it to them frogs, huh? Them Pepsis. A man was shot by police twice in the same shoulder at 2 different times on the same night in College Park, Georgia. You see this?
No.
Talk about having bad luck. This is worse than going to Woodbine and having somebody else get the good machine man. The girlfriend of 33-year-old Kenyatta Bostic called police with a domestic violence complaint early Saturday, but Bostic, I wonder if he's kin to Earl Bostic, was gone when officers arrived. He returned soon after, but when officers ordered him to turn off his car's engine, he sped off, barely avoiding an officer who dived out of the way. An officer fired through the car's passenger window, hitting Bostic in the shoulder. Ever eat Bosco?
I don't even know what it is.
Oh, it's like, what's that other, like chocolate powder? Ovaltine.
Oh, okay. All right, sure.
I like eating Ovaltine with a spoon.
You know it right there. Just dip your finger
Police chased him through the Atlantic metropolitan area, Atlantic metropolitan area, College Park, Georgia, until Bostic returned to his girlfriend's apartment complex where he crashed his car, set out on foot. An officer caught up with him and ordered him to hold up his hands. He refused to show his hands. Then he turned abruptly at the officer, and the officer struck him in the same bad shoulder. How do you like that? He was treated and released, being held on charges of aggravated assault on a police officer, criminal trespass, and traffic violations. A damn good thing he didn't have like a pot skill.
This is Neil Rogers.
Yeah.
Because after the beat goes off the second time, and it just sits there and continues...
simmers.
It's simmering, warming. Keeps it warm. And the bratwurst, too. Anyway, what do we got? We made our 600 votes on the poll, like falling off a log. No problem. We could have gone for 700 if Josh would have leaned on it real heavy.
Well, I pushed for 6.
You did what?
I pushed for 6. We got it.
Yeah, 622. Last time I checked. Anyway, here's what we got. Who's the all-time ugliest male celebrity? Movies, radio, and TV. Marty Feldman, 119. Funny, though. See, it's one thing if you're ugly and you're funny.
It helps sometimes.
If you're ugly and you're not funny, and then you got Tsuris. Marty Feldman, 119. The Humper, Hank Goldberg, 83. He can be funny. Lyle I Love It, 63. Man, he is just, I'm sorry. What is it? And where is it at? Mo Howard David at 46. He's standing by. He's coming up next. It looks a lot better without the muskrat. Ron Jeremy, 37. Neil Rogers, 32. Right on Ron Jeremy's back. What a grotesque thought that is. Maybe I'll pass on the bratwurst. Carl Malden, 26. I can't believe you don't know who Phil Silvers was.
Who?
Do a Google right now on Phil Silvers and click on Sergeant Vilko. And as soon as you see the picture, you know who that was.
All right, doing it.
Sly Stallone, 21. Wayne Heisinger, 19. James Woods, 18. Old Zitface. What a Potch and Tookus. Don Imus, 17. I bet you nobody has seen that movie, Once Upon a Time in America. Well, next time you have 7 or 8 hours free, watch it. It's good. Owen Wilson, 17. Steve Buscemi, 15. Charles Bronson, 15. Jack Elam, 12. Phil Henry, 10.
Are you sure?
Edward James, almost 9. Looks almost human.
Oh, that
W.C.
guy.
Fields, 9. What?
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, you recognize him with the glasses and the bald
He was
head.
in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World.
Right. W.C. Fields, 9. Peter Lorre, 6. Jimmy Walker, J.J., 5. Larry King, 5. Oh, he should be... What is that? Greta Van Susteren, 5. Don King, 5. Richard Boone, 5. Bela Lugosi, 3. Gene Wilder, 3. Red Skelton, 2. Eddie K, 2. John Madden, 2. Boris Karloff, 2. Carrot Top, 1. Rita Cosby, 1. Donald Trump, 1. Ernest Borgnine, 1. And Stan Major, solamente uno.
Bye, bye, bye!